Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where nothing goes with a cup of coffee quite like a second cup of coffee. Hi, I'm Oxie.
And I'm Michael. And I'm just now remembering I wanted more coffee, but it's too late. We are Xpwaste. We're a show that's going to talk like exclusively, probably, primarily, maybe slightly.
Exclusively is a strong word.
Almost exclusively. I like the little almost. We're going to talk about Old School Runescape. That's why you're here. That's why you clicked on the show. Maybe you've never listened to Xpwaste before. Well, hello and welcome. We are Oxie and Michael, obviously, and we're here to entertain the folks. And we got some things to talk about today that's going to be hopefully coming to the game soon. If you're not new around here, why didn't I get coffee? I don't know,
brother. It's a skill issue, I suppose.
Otis says a cigarette and a cup of coffee. I heard they went well together. You know?
I don't smoke, but sure.
50-50. But Oxy,
92.
It is a new day. It is a new year.
It is a new day. It's a new year. Is this our first time recording in 2025?
In 2025, yes. In 2025. We did like the last day of 2024.
Goals was in 2025.
Was it?
Right? I think so.
It's the 12th.
Yo, Melvin man with the 1KC Skodos. Look at that. 1KC pet gang.
And that's not even in leagues.
No, it's not.
Hey, yo. No, yeah.
But no,
7 days ago.
7 days ago
was the
7
5th.
days ago would have been.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have recorded.
Damn it, dude.
So this is not our first episode.
We're getting old. I think that's the problem.
Otis said you guys suck at looking at calendars. That's facts.
Thanks, Otis.
No, it's right. It's just objectively correct. We do suck at looking at calendars.
Calculators, all the like basic apps on your phone.
Arithmetic is not the strong suit here on the show.
Except
so
if
you're here for that.
My wife goes, "What's 237 times 2?" And I was like, 534. She's like, "I don't know how you do that."
But 237 times 2 is not 534.
Do it in your head.
237 times 2 is 474. 237 times 2.
Do it again.
237.
237 times 2.
237 times 2 is 474.
Why did I say 574?
Put it in your calculator app. Put it in your calculator.
I'm at 474.
My man tried to flex and
hold on.
Got it wrong.
She said 267. What is 267?
No, that's fine. Just go change your answer after the fact. Change your answer after the fact. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
267 is 534. 267. Anyway, that's not RuneScape.
Don't worry, I believe you. I believe you, surely, right?
Yeah, I could just edit this out. Like no one would even know.
No, you won't.
I will. I could. I'm the editor.
I'll just reference it. I'll reference it back at the beginning of the episode. Don't worry. Or later
next time.
You won't even be ready for it.
And then it'll be like an elusive. What is Oxy talking about? It's just for the recording booth.
Coward.
Yeah. Well, I'm back in the main game. Finally. It's been what is this now? Like we have a week left of leagues, I think. 2 weeks.
When this episode comes out, I think we have about a week left.
Damn. Hey, I beat my record from like last leagues. I think last leagues, I was still getting Rune Cup like 3 or 4 days before the end. So we're doing better than we did before, which is all you can ask for.
W.
My question for Jagex is, do they count leagues in like their days logged in streak? Or is it just if you log into the main game servers? Because I know that I had at least 1, maybe 2 nerd logs during leagues. And in my summary, it didn't count them. Like my end of year summary. So I don't know. But I'm just wondering if like today is going to start my 350 something day streak of logging into the game. Because I'm going to really try and beat 68 days this year by literally just, if it's like 11 o'clock at night and I haven't logged in and I haven't played that day, I'm just going to log in my phone and then log out just so I can have that like long ass login streak at the end of the year.
Put it on the goal sheet.
What? Maybe I do try for 69 and then just make sure
Nice.
I don't play every single day.
Just set yourself an alarm on your phone. That's what I did. Like, because Pokemon Go had shit like that for a while, where you had to like log in and do something every day for a challenge. So I would set myself an alarm for like 10 a.m. every day. Just like log in, catch a Pokemon, turn the game off, and not play it again. Do that for a while. So alarm could work.
Alarm could work. I could just do it like whenever I take my medicine. Take your medicine, and then like a minute later, log into RuneScape.
Could do.
Could do.
Could do.
Well, bro, I think it's been a week since I've talked to you. What have you been up to?
I've still been busy with IRL stuff.
So
actually.
busy.
IRL. It's been a busy IRL year so far. Yesterday I had a fencing tournament on Saturday, which went well. Like I see a lot of improvement. I was also initially super annoyed because I placed like 13th or 14th, and the top 12 people initially got ratings, and I was so pissed because truly it wasn't even like, it was just the way the ratings shook out. So it wasn't like the answer is to do better in pools, because I knew the kid I was going up against I wasn't going to beat. Like, these are people who are like going to be committing to schools in a couple of years for fencing, and I'm not beating a 16-year-old who's getting scouted by Division I colleges. I'm not beating that at this age, but I know what I need to improve on, and I know what I need to do better at, and I wish I could have done a little bit better. The rating system kind of threw itself off anyways, so like instead of top 12 getting rated, top 8 got rated. I would get into the nuances, but that'd be boring and complicated. So USA Fencing has some weird rules for national ratings, and the tournament didn't shake out to be the rating we initially thought it was. It went from a B2 to a C2 maybe, or C1. I'm not sure. But regardless of what it was fun. I had a good time. I had teammates there, which was a big pull. It's always good to go to away games. It's like a basketball game, right? That's just how I word it. It's always good to go to like an away match and have people there to support. I've always felt a lot better when there are people watching and supporting than when they're not. So that was fun. Nice to have people there. Tournament itself went pretty well. I got another one coming up this Saturday.
Wow.
At home. So we have 2 weeks back-to-back tournaments, which would be nice. What else have we been up to? I feel like I haven't played games like at all this week. Like, not even just RuneScape. Like, I haven't been playing Stardew. I turned on Valheim a little bit before recording, because pretty much the only thing I've been doing in RuneScape is Zulrah, a couple of chambers, and then I started chipping away at my Araxor task on the main. So I've been cranking out some Zulrah on the main. No uniques. Oh, no, not no uniques. I got a jar of swamp last night.
Oh.
So the only collection log item I didn't want, it's done, and it's out of the way.
Okay.
So that one is done. I don't need to hunt for the jar anymore, because hunting jars sucks. Ran some chambers in the main game last night, which was nice to get back to, I guess. And it felt weird, because every time, like, obviously I haven't done chambers in weeks outside of leagues. So I was just sitting there at home, and I'm like, I'll stand on the crystals and kill myself. And then at the last second, I'm like, oh, this is the main game. And to like step off and remember how to do the raid. And even in the main game, without the relics, crabs is still the hardest room in the raid. One thing I have noticed, and I don't know if other people who do a lot of CMs and go back to regs feel this way. I got so used to the CM layout, because we pretty much exclusively did CMs and leagues, that we would get CM layout rooms, and what is supposed to be next wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we kept getting the CM crab layout, and it wasn't followed by Ice Demon. We get CM Mystics, and they weren't followed by Muta. It was like, this feels strange, but I don't know. It's probably a good problem to have, because CMs are quite a bit of fun. The only other notable thing that happened this week in RuneScape, I did Araxor, and I got my fangs super spooned, like 252 KC, something like that. So I got my Araxite fang. I have a Rancor now. I considered selling it because it's like a 68 mil profit, but where I'm at right now with what I would want to buy, I might as well just keep it.
Yeah.
Like Torva is so expensive, Ancestral is so expensive, and those other like rinky dink upgrades, like I kind of want a Dragon Hunter Lance again so I can do more Vorkath. I would rather just go to Hydra.
And get a claw.
Yeah, like I hate to Bronze Man or to Iron Man or admit that, but like I got my Rancor earlier, and I'm like, I didn't expect to Iron Man my Rancor as soon as I did, but here we are. So a little under halfway to drop rate on that. Now I just need the jar and the pet from Araxor, and Araxor is green logged. All the CAs are done. All that cool stuff is taken care of. Araxor is a really, really fun boss to do. But I feel like that's all I've been doing. I'm currently in Nightmare Zone on the GIM. The people who are screaming about going to the PvP arena, I'm sorry. I'm sitting in Nightmare Zone because I got to train my combat stats, and I need the Elite Diary step for the RD Diary for the salve. So I literally have to be here anyway. Oh. So I need the combat stats, and if I'm going to be here long enough, I might as well just imbue all of my shit while I'm here. I don't think rings are particularly expensive to imbue. And like I know people are malding, like, oh my god, why not just go to the PvP arena, bro? It's so much easier. Okay.
Well, the problem is, especially on a GIM, when gear is so fluid, you have rings that we all share. Well, specifically a ring, but like you're gonna have to get the suffering. You're gonna have to get a scroll eventually, because you're not gonna want to like imbue it and then just get half the points back, and then
I mean, like, yeah, sound logic. I don't have a suffering.
Well, when you inevitably want to borrow it, we have one for the team. And I was actually considering going into like just camping demonics for a third Zenite, so that Fear can just have his own suffering. Because there's going to come a time where Fear and I are both going to want to kill Zora at the same time, and I don't think either of us want to use recoils. But
yeah, that's going to be the other issue of if I ever go to Zalra on the Iron Man, not figuring out Zalra, but like I haven't done a Jad phase in like 200 kills. Like it's gonna
like
be
riding
tough
a bike. You'll get it.
I understand. Like Zalra isn't a difficult boss for me at this point, but like I'm gonna be so used to being like, I have the res and I'm just gonna kill it quickly that like I'm gonna be chipping away like 6s with my warped scepter. It's gonna be a lot longer, but that day, who knows if that day will come. Otis says, when are you getting back into the Coliseum? I considered it today. I actually watched a couple Coliseum videos today about like, like wave solves and stacks and things like that. It's really not that complicated. It's very similar to the Inferno with how the stacks work, which is cool. So I think the biggest challenge is going to be finding the motivation to do it and then getting past Soul, because Soul doesn't look very hard. Like I've kind of been told that it's kind of like at Hydra's Jad phase. Like if you fuck up Hydra's Jad phase, don't switch your prayers. And it's the same thing at Soul. If you fuck up your positioning, walk back to the same tile, because he's gonna send another attack where that tile is gonna be safe. But I've not done it yet, obviously, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes, but it'll be coming in time. I'm not super concerned about it. I thought about going back in today. I need to change my setup for Coliseum. I'm bringing too much shit. So I need to I think I might just go mage only, is what I've been told. Like
until Soul, or like even for Soul?
Yeah, it's full mage until Soul, and then you put your like Rancor, Scythe, Infernal Cape, stuff like that. Like just bring like a Tacits or a BCP or something like that. And if I had a Torva helm, I'd bring the Torva helm with the strength bonus, and like that's what you would take to fight Soul. The other way to do it, I think people keep saying Bofa is also really good for Soul, which I've seen, and I believe that Bofa is a pretty solid choice for Soul, but I don't have one of those. So it's free, but it takes a while. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm fine with that. I don't really care about speed runs. I got to do 5 of them to get on the high scores. So should hop back onto Twitch like you did for your Infernal Cape. I didn't do a lot of my Inferno on Twitch. It was like when I was on Twitch, it was really before the time that I was doing Inferno. Like I did a little bit of Inferno while streaming, but not a lot. I think the only really notable Inferno stream that I ever had was the first time I made it to Zuck on 4th of July in like 20. Jesus, was that 22? I think it was July of 22. I made it to Zuck for the first time. So I don't know. Maybe I could get back on Twitch and do a little stream. If the people really, really want it, I would consider it. But yeah, I feel like I've been busy. I've just been very, very busy. But yeah, we're hanging out. I've been talking a lot about nothing, it seems like. So what have you been up to, Michael?
I'm done with leagues finally, but
W?
that didn't happen until like yesterday. I
Like
would
2 nights
say
ago?
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say, it was 2 nights ago and you sent me that text, yeah.
But I maxed. And so my plan this whole week, or at least since the last time we recorded, was I was going to get 2277 and then Rune Cup at the same time. And I thought that I planned out the points so that I could do that. But it turns out when you do other things to get XP, so like I was doing all my diaries, those all give you like lots of points.
I saw you crack off the Karen Elite diary or something, and I was like, oh, he doesn't give. I thought like you don't give a shit about maxing anymore. Like you're just pushing to get it done.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize you didn't know they gave you points.
Well, I knew they gave me points, but I didn't factor those points into the ending like calculation. So like I was like, oh, if I get all of these levels, it's going to give me like 3,000 points and I'm at 42K. But I didn't factor in, or I didn't remember at least, that I needed to get all my diaries done for the XP lamps to get those skills.
Mm-hmm.
So had I just like factored in like, oh, I have 5 diaries, that's going to be about 1,000 points, a little over 1,000 points just in those, I'm going to be way over. So currently I ended the league at like 47K, 47.3 or something, which I don't know where the extra 2K came from, but we did it. There was a couple oddball tasks, I guess, that I just finished. So yeah, we got Rune Cup and finished off the league maxed, which like crazy enough, I looked at my rank 2277. I'm like 950 million XP. I'm like rank 17,000. There were so many people who maxed in this league. And maybe that's a normal thing, but it never occurred to me that so many people would be maxed. And there's even more than 17,000 because I'm at like 1 billion XP and you can max at like as low as like 350 mil or something like that. So most people have a ton of XP, but there are probably people who just like go to 13 million and then stop. But yeah, it's ranked 17,500 or something. It's insane. Whether or not I could go for Dragon Cup, I'm not sure. So I'm at 47K. It would be a stretch, I think, because a lot of the tasks that I have left that would probably get me that extra like 13K points, they're going to be pretty RNG dependent. When it comes to like, I've done a lot of the KC tasks that I want to do. I could probably spend like another couple hours doing some more Mauritania KC tasks. But then at the end of the day, it's like the difference between Rune and Dragon Cup for me is not a big difference at this point. Like I'm happy. I'm happy and I'm satisfied with how it ended. And if I did push myself to go for Dragon Cup and then not get it, I think I would just feel worse. You know, like I would end up not like leaving off this league with a good feeling. It would be like, oh frick, dude, like I got 55K and now leagues ends tomorrow. What am I gonna freaking do?
Yeah.
So if I just stop it now, we have about a week and a half. I'm fine. Like Rune Cup, this will be my second Rune Cup. And I think I'm actually going to build the league's hall now that I have at least 2 trophies to put up there. So yeah, man, leagues was fun. I think that like an overarching feeling is that this was a good one. I'm still a bit like meh about the whole region locking thing being like a constant thing for leagues. Just thinking about what's going to come up this year, it's like, ugh, I know that they're going to make it interesting because like every single time we get told about leagues, it's like, how are they going to top this one? They always do. The team that puts
Mhm.
together leagues is phenomenal. They all have such great ideas and they execute them fairly well every single time. And like the echo bosses and the echo weapons and whatever, all of that made this league fantastic for me. So
Oh yeah.
the fact that we are going to be stuck with like locked region locks, it's not the most exciting for me, but I'm still looking forward to what they can come up with. What I'm hoping for is we get like a Twisted League 2 where everybody's in the same region and we don't have to like think of these different metas that all like what region is the best for this, for this, for this, for this. It's just like, just give me a place to play and let me pick relics that are fun. You know what I mean? Like I don't the whole choice of like where do I go and what content do I focus on is like something that is always, it adds a bit of stress to the game and you're always left with like a feeling of, well, what if I had done things differently, you know? Because I loved being in the wilderness and I really enjoyed Zaya and I chose Mauritania as my third region, but there's always that thing in the back of my mind like, was Mauritania the best choice? I had fun, like I did a few Theater of Blood, but like I don't really feel like I took full advantage of that region. So it's like at the end of the day, was it the best choice? And so, you know, you're always left with just a bunch of like not big regrets, but small regrets. And that wouldn't happen if we had the whole map available to us. But then there's also looking at Shattered Relics and the whole map was available to you, and it just that might also just be overwhelming. So I don't know. I don't know what the good like the obvious solution is, but I am excited for next league. You know, to cap it all off, this was a fun one. I did all the things that I wanted to do, and I think that it was well all worth it. Yeah, all worth it.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like quote unquote regretting decisions goes, like I didn't feel any of that. You know,
Good.
I really had fun this league. I think they made a lot of substantial improvements. I think obviously like the theme of the league was a lot of fun with the echo bosses. The combat masteries was a great addition, great change. The relics were mostly fun other than that stupid equilibrium. I didn't even take equilibrium. I'm still pissed off about it, but like come on, Arcane, let it go. Nobody likes nobody likes that relic, please. But other than that, like I think a lot of things were great about this league. And what I was thinking about earlier, I think the task list felt a lot better this league. A lot of the tasks in regions felt attainable, which I think is twofold. Number one, kind of like we talked about a few weeks ago, we as players are getting better at the league. We are getting better at limited regions, limited resources, and still getting the job done.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe it's us as the player base, maybe it's us as individuals, but I felt like the task list, like most of the task list felt a lot more attainable. Like I think I got 760 something tasks of the 980 something total that were possible. And like that's cool. You know, that feels satisfying enough to me. I got like damn near 45k points on the dot and bounced. Because again, I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. When there's nothing else to strive for, it makes it really difficult. So if there's one thing I would change for the next league, it would be give us something between 28k and 45k. Give us something at like the 37k mark or like the 40k mark, like something to keep us pushing through those ranks. And I think what really could diversify it a little bit is I think Ralph mentioned it in the recording booth chat, another region. I feel like another region kind of muddies the water of what a region locked league is. And in a lot of ways, I don't know if I'm sold on the idea of a fourth region pick. But I think if you put it late enough in the game, it gives people something to strive for. And they've already done a majority of their leaguing at that point. You know, like maybe I'm off base with what people in the league want, But like, I feel like the top players finish leagues by like week 3, you know, and they're just done. So it gives them more content. Maybe they don't want more content to do, but that push from Addy to Rune feels real bad. Could be a personal thing. I'm just not a big fan of the Addy to Rune push because there's nothing to unlock. There's nothing to show for it. And then obviously Rune to Dragon, as we've said, is like you're committing to that grind. So I don't think there needs to be anything between Rune and Dragon as an unlock. But I think a 4th region could help mix up the league and make it feel a little bit different. I think it could also be fun. Again, because of region locking doesn't always mean a Trailblazer style thing. Like region locking could be like, it could island lock one of these leagues with sailing when that comes out. We could have a Fog of War league where you unlock, like you start in one of 3 zones. You start in Korend, Lumbridge, or Ardoyan, and you have to unlock regions as you earn more points to slowly accumulate the entire map. Maybe there's not enough points to accumulate the entire map, and you have to leave 2 or 3 regions out. So it's still region locked, but the way that it's region locked is different. I think that could prove to be a really interesting league format. I don't think they're off the mark on a lot of what they're doing with leagues. And as much as you are right, the idea that everything is going to be region locked kind of feels a little bad. Kind of. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think what this league did more than anything was prove that we're going to be fine. Yeah. This league proved that the people who are on the league's team are clearly very passionate about it. I hate to sound like a bootlicker here, but clearly they know what they are doing and they are passionate about leagues in general. So I'm optimistic, I guess, that whatever league comes next is going to be just as fun. That rush of like, holy shit, it's leagues, it's going to be back, right? They know how to market it to get our attention, and it works, and they do such a good job of that, and then they deliver on day one. I think if the only other thing they could improve, I don't know how it's possible, please let the fucking league start on time. Yeah. Please. It's been how many years? The league has got to start on time. There can't be another rollback. The league has got to start on time. I think that's the only other big thing for me is like we just have to do it right off the rip, and then we're good. You know? Yeah. Most of my critiques about leagues kind of fall under there, and I think I'm content with most anything else about leagues. It was a good time. They did the quality of life additions that they made, spectacular. Spectacular. Mega rare scrolls, love that.
Oh, so good.
Oh, another critique I have. And I don't know how possible this is. Can we make the faster respawn at bosses optional?
You're so passionate about this.
Dude, I don't even like main game Sarachnis's respawn time. I don't like main game wilderness bosses respawn time because I think it's too quick. And then you have that bitch. I want to take a second and figure out what I got on the ground as loot. Hydra drops 8 things at a time because you could get 2 pieces of rune, 2 pieces of mystic, and 2 Hydra bones or coins or whatever other bullshit. Then you have to alch them to get them out of your inventory. And by the time you're done picking shit up off the floor, Hydra's back. That it sets you up for a bad kill because now Hydra's in the middle of the room. It's on the wrong vent, and it's already like, I don't know. Hydra really left a bad taste in my mouth with leagues and the fast respawn time. Araxor didn't really have the same problem, which I thought was fine. I will say quicker respawn times for resources and Slayer monsters, beautiful. Keep that shit, period. Yeah. Like, I think once you hit a certain threshold and prove that you're a real player, just let that be a thing forever. Like that, even in the main game, that quicker quality of life respawn for like going for my black mask felt seamless. Like that was great. Going for a whip felt like it was no problem. Like that right there, loved it. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of leagues was great, and I am content to say that I am done, and I am going to be looking forward to the next league, because League 6 is definitely going to be out by the end of the year. Slowly, over time, people will come back to the main game, which is the last point I had about leagues, because I saw this a little bit in the Xpwaste chat. The last point I had about leagues and about this time of year in general: stop playing RuneScape. Stop it. Stop playing RuneScape. Leagues is a mentally exhausting activity. It's so much planning and all of it. It's not even like, oh, teehee, I'm going to go kill Zulrah for money or nice helmet like I'm doing in the main game right now. Everything has a path and a method. Like, it's a lot of fun, but it's really overwhelming. Everybody is burnt out at this point. I get it. Come home, come back to the main game. We'd love to see it. Go play a different video game. Go not play a video game. I haven't talked in a TNL VC in like 2 weeks. Nothing against the TNL, playing different video games, hanging out with people in real life. Burnt as fuck on RuneScape. That's okay. Be burnt. Be burnt and enjoy your time not playing. Because if you're listening to the 180th episode of a RuneScape podcast in your spare time, you're here forever, baby. I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna come back. No one's gonna judge you for not playing leagues or whatever. Like, if you're like myself and Michael, it's not like RuneScape is going anywhere. We got the shit tattooed. Like, I was cleaning my apartment the other day. One of my teammates came over and we drove down to the tournament together yesterday. So nothing will stimulate cleaning more for someone with the undiagnosed but pretty sure ADHD than inviting somebody over, because at some point the anxiety overrides the executive dysfunction and you just like hyper efficiency clean your apartment. Between the amount of dinosaur things and RuneScape things in my apartment, it looks like I decorated it like I'm a 10-year-old. It's like you gave a 10-year-old an adult salary. Because I'm like, ooh, this is super cool. Like, I got a map, I got a poster. It's fucking Verzik. It's the Verzik poster you got me. It's the RuneScape map my sister got me. I'm like placing things around. Like, I put Elvarg up on a shelf that I built the other day. Like, you can barely see it in the video.
Oh, I see it.
And
yeah.
she's just off screen. Elvarg is up there. Like, I don't know, man. It is what it is, because I hate that phrase in general, but I think, like, yeah, play a different game, you guys. That's fine. Play a different game. No one's gonna be judgy and a bitch about it. And if they are, fuck them. Play a different game.
You know what's so funny about that? I feel like the main game for me is a different game. I almost never.
You got burnt. A problem. That's why you don't ever play any other. You have a problem, and you cannot play another video game. I think that's why Michael specifically has a problem.
I have a problem. I just like this game. Like, I have a whole Steam library of things that I could do, but I just feel like Leagues doesn't feel like RuneScape. It is RuneScape, and it does feel like RuneScape, but like, I almost don't ever get burnt from Leagues coming back. Like, it happened last time. Like, I maybe took one day off. I think yesterday, and after, like, yesterday I didn't play all day yesterday because I was obviously doing Christmas stuff with my family, and I didn't play this morning as I was watching TV or whatever. And I probably won't play much after I get off, recording the podcast. But then come tomorrow, I'll be editing the podcast and I'll be right back into it, AFKing something. And this happened to me last time too. I took like a 2-3 day break. I wasn't burnt, but I just needed like that kind of like XP multiplier reset coming down off of the times 16 and going back to like, ooh, a Karambon is 50 XP. Woo. So it does feel like a different video game for me, but I will commit to doing something other than RuneScape this week. Once I'm done editing, I think I'm going to try and start Red Dead Redemption 2 on my PC.
What games did I just buy? I just bought 2 games from a Steam sale. What in the world were they? Newly added. Oh, I got Hollow Knight and Untitled Goose Game. because they were both like $6. And I've
Okay.
heard really good things about Hollow Knight. And I only have Untitled Goose Game on Epic Games, and I don't really do anything on Epic Games. So I got a lot of things that I want to play that I just kind of need to, you know, like it's time for me to play other games. I don't know why it feels so difficult sometimes to load up other games. I don't think it's a RuneScape problem necessarily. I just think like sometimes maybe I'm not always excited to play other games and I want to do other like IRL stuff. And I think that's a big part of why I just haven't been playing games. Like I've been fencing and doing all this other fun stuff in real life and like you know talking to people on the phone and things like that. I even like all my other Discord communities and things like that I just like haven't been jumping into, which is again nothing against them. I just haven't been playing whatever. But I will say Francine brings up a really good point to I think transition us away from leagues and into other stuff. She said at least there are run energy changes. So we went from unlimited run in leagues back into the main game. And they just like as the time of recording this episode on like Wednesday of last week. So by the time you're hearing this, it's been a little over a week since they've changed it. This past week has been great for news. It's like leagues is done for them too, and they're ready to start cooking for 2025. Run energy changes. The little bit that I've gotten to experience it, it feels pretty solid. It feels pretty solid. I feel like I want to make a new account and try it.
Ooh.
Because I feel like that would be the most substantial. Because, like on my main, it's like, oh, I'm not using any staminas in chambers. But also, I haven't used stamina in chambers in forever. Ever since they put the piss pools in, I haven't really ever used a stam in chambers. And I haven't. Like on the raids I went on last night, I was the only one with a scythe, so I just ended up sitting melee hand. Like didn't really do anything else. Didn't really run a lot, but from what I've seen, people really, really like it. And from what I tried in the beta, it's such a good change.
Yeah, they changed it further. Even
did they?
Yeah, they changed it more. Like they tuned it more even after the beta because they got feedback from the beta, and so I think it's even better than it was in the beta, from what I can understand from the blog.
Oh yeah, that's the one downside to this is I haven't read the blog necessarily for the run energy thing because I played the beta and I understood it and I'm like I am at work. I'm not gonna read this right now. I have notes to write. But if they changed it even further, the beta felt real good.
Yeah,
the beta felt real good at like 60 kg backpack with 99 agility. So. Excited for that. Maybe I'll go run the Sepulcher on the main and see if I need stams for floor 5 in particular. So we'll see. But no, the run energy changes I am stoked for.
Yeah. From what I've heard, a lot of people are excited about it. There's been people doing like Zaya rune crafting who are like, you know, I don't run out of run energy when I'm doing blood runes anymore.
Rune crafting with the soul runes.
Yeah, with the soul runes.
I feel like with the shortcut for blood runes, you don't run out of run very often. Souls, holy shit, dude. I was walking back like after every trip at Souls, especially once I started ditching the Graceful for the remnants or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, dude. Like it was just agility. I still don't have the remnant top. So if you guys go back to that bingo video we released where I'm talking about the rules, that's the Fashionscape plugin because I don't have the top. I don't have the top. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta look consistent at the fire altar. I'm definitely not gonna go get the piece right now.
That's funny.
But Ralph says I am doing blast furnace and I'm getting stamina while you're stammed. That is absurd. That is such a good. Not like I understand what he means. It's like he's regaining run energy because he has a stamina in his downtime when he's banking or at the thing. Like at a place like Blast Furnace, that feels great.
Yeah.
At a place like Giant's Foundry or, you know, cooking at Hosidius or wherever, like any skilling activity where you have to consistently run back and forth, that's gotta feel real good. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. These run energy changes, like, and they're gonna make a lot of skilling methods that are already pretty decently cozy a lot nicer. Like I'm thinking of Blast Furnace. I'm thinking of Addy plate bodies and Priff. Just never gonna run out of run energy ever. You never even have to worry about it, you know?
we'll definitely be less dependent on Graceful. I think that's something that's going to be very exciting. Is we'll see less people in Graceful, although it's going to be hard to break that habit. We may not need
Oh yeah.
we're not going to need Graceful all the time, but I'm still probably going to wear it at least for a little while. RIP the Ring of Endurance. I think that thing's going to crash because what did you use it for now? Like maybe it'll just
Bro, the
enhance
Ring
it.
of Endurance is 13 mil.
Holy
shit.
So it already has
crashed so
crashed.
fast.
It already has crashed. Do you think they should
was-
buff it? Like, I don't know, like make it useful? It's a pretty endgame item, at least to obtain.
I think it still serves a purpose, and I think it's still going to be over. This is going to be one of those things people quote me on when it's at like ALC value. I still think it's going to maintain its 10 mil plus valuation because of how hard it is to get. Like the Hallowed Sepulcher.
But how are you going to pay 10 mil for an item that's not even useful? Is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's hard to get.
It's not that it's not useful. It doubles the effective stamina. It's like it's still. I think it's more niche in what it's useful for. Like I would bet that like Herbivore, for example, Ring of Endurance still goes pretty hard.
That's true.
Like I think the use case for the Ring of Endurance has probably dropped substantially with this run energy change. But because there is still at least one use for it, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, very true.
But
I'm excited to get back into the main game and experience it for myself. It's really nice coming back from having the last 2 months of like 100% run energy all the time and never walking. To I'm coming back to the main game where walking is a concern, but now it's better. So it actually couldn't have came at a perfect time. Literally.
Oh yeah, you know what really threw me off? Like really threw me off. Clue scrolls. Going back to the main game, I had like an elite clue in my bank, and again, I've been doing a lot of Zalra, so like I got an elite clue from that or whatever. And doing elite clues in the main game felt so weird when I first started doing them because I'd click on the clue step and then would lag. I would like look at my inventory and be like, where
shouldn't I be there?
The compass doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And what step did I get? I got the Toad Bada step. And it was like dig under Razor Lord's Bada. I'm like, dude, I miss the clue compass, man. I hate this step so much. But I think all things end when it comes to leagues, and that's okay. So run energy changes looking good. It was a little strange because I did start just like instinctively sprinting everywhere. I'm like, damn, I gotta run all the way from there to there. I'm like, oh no, I have a max cape.
Oh,
I go wherever the hell I want.
Right. You're 99 agility. Like what you'll feel essentially is just a better regen rate. Because I think the drain rate is the same. Or I might have flipped those. Like
I think the drain rate is a lot. At least when I tried it out in the beta, the drain rate was a lot better. Because I put like the max melee kit on, like 60 kilograms worth of shit. And I ran from like Vedion's lair all the way to the Wilderness Ditch and still had some to spare.
That's
with
nice.
no stams or nothing. Just hoofing it straight down. So I think the drain rate is a little bit better with 99 agility. Again, I didn't read the blog and I don't have it in front of me. So I'm going strictly off vibes for this update, and the vibes are good.
The drain rate's better.
Real good.
I just looked at the blog. The drain rate was improved. So at 99, there is a bit of a difference. It's the regen rate. So the regen rate in the like upper 80s it's about the same. You'll regen about the same amount. It's better, but it's close. So the drain rate though, that's where we're going to feel the most substantial change, especially at the higher levels, because you basically like incentivize a higher agility level to drain your agility, like to drain your run energy less now. So agility does have some sort of, it used to have a benefit, but it was almost like you don't feel it because the changes, like the benefits are so small, but after this, it's more substantial. So the regen rate's about the same. Now, regen
Yeah.
at lower levels, substantially better. I think that's where
That
the
was-
scale
that was the-
tips is like,
That was the big
Yeah,
issue. Is like that was your run energy regen so slow, and you had like such a stupidly quick drain rate that like I think I remember watching like a Theoatrix video back in the day, and the milestones were like 20, 50, 70. The jump from like 1 to 20 was pretty okay. The jump from 20 to 50 was like, and then once you got to 70, it just sort of like steadily increased from 70 to 99. So it seems like from here, they're making that curve a lot nicer.
Yeah.
For the early game folks. And that's great.
And then they started at a different level too. So it wasn't even like this is where it was before, and now it's just a steeper slope. It's like they moved up, so you regen faster, but then they even just like increased it, made it a more. I'm looking at the graph and I'm trying to like visually explain it, but essentially, you have a wider margin.
Put that graph on screen.
Okay, put the graph on screen.
YouTube not feel crazy.
You have you've in earlier levels, it just starts out better, and then the two lines kind of intersect as it gets closer to 99. And so the early game was what they were focusing on when it came to the regen, but then the benefits of that regen rate are really noticeable as the later levels progress, because now you actually gain benefits of having 99 agility, or even like, I don't know, like upper 80s is probably still fairly decent when it comes to like the optimal level, because you don't need 99 to feel good about having good agility. You can just have like, I don't know, 85, 87, maybe go to 90 for the diary so you don't have to boost for it. And then if you never want to train agility again, you're probably fine. I may eat those words later on, but like I feel like if you can get to 90, whatever the highest shortcut is with agility, you're probably fine if you just want to stop and you're not going to max your account.
You know what could be a good incentive for agility? The higher your agility level, the more time you get on stamina potions. I don't know if that'd be a good idea or not.
I know.
But I feel like that's an incentive.
Yeah.
Like I feel like especially once you get it to like the higher end, like once you start getting into the 90s with agility, where the grind becomes a lot more like, yippee, only 500 more laps to get, 91 to 92. Like I feel like that is a half decent improvement for, and then like, because once you get to like the peak levels where there's nothing really more to unlock other than a couple of shortcuts, the stamina rate goes from like 2 minutes at level 1 to like 2.5 at like level 90, and then like from 2.5 at 90 it gets to like 3.5 by 99. So Sam's just last a little bit longer.
Yeah, because they do that already with brews. I mean, boosting potions already kind of have that mechanic built in where you get a better benefit at a higher level. So
yeah,
I don't think it's unreasonable to like pitch that as an idea, because when you talk about things that like would make incentivizing a higher agility better, I think it would make stam still worth it in the economy. Because another thing that people were saying, at least in the Xpwaste chat, was like the marks of grace are going to crash, staminas are going to become worthless. But like, I don't think they will. But to stop
staminas
them
are too useful. Staminas are too useful in combat.
I think they're just useful all around. Questing, like immensely useful. There's like multiple skilling methods that, yes, combat is great, but like if you're doing AFK Slayer, when you're going to really need a stamina, if you can just tele back to your house.
You and I both know that that's not what I refer to when I'm talking about combat, Michael. You and I both know that's not what I mean. Like,
well,
I think
you mean
because
combat
there is
in a different way that I think a lot of people just take the word combat. You mean like high level PVM?
Okay, fine, Mr. Pedantic, still in 2025. They have a use in PVM. They have a use in player versus boss encounters. Not,
PvP.
I'm not going to use a stamina. I'm not going to use a stamina while I'm AFKing Slayer. Actually, you might if you're bursting Necreals or Dust Devils. You might run out of run energy getting the stat correct.
I've never ran out of run energy.
Yeah, that's because it takes you 3,000 years to kill them. Bring Max Mage down into that bitch and let me tell me how long it takes. Tell me how quick you kill him. Sometimes you get low on that run energy. You know, Din's weighs a lot. You damn right it does. But because the item still has a use in player versus boss encounters, it's not going to drop in price because people are going to rip through them so quickly. They're going to need more. Like there's still a high demand for staminas, even with these changes, right? You need stams in the Inferno. You need stams at Chambers. You need stams at Tob. And I know like in group chambers, you probably don't need stams, but solos are still very popular, especially like solo CMs. You're definitely going to need them. You're going to need stams at a lot of places, and I don't think the price of them is going to decrease necessarily because they're not a useless item. The one thing I would be a little hesitant about changing that, because I know you mentioned like brews and anglerfish and boost potions get better. Other than anglerfish, like those systems were in place before the backup. And I think that's what would piss people off is if we just randomly decided like, hey, we're going to make stams have this detrimental change to what combat, then people would freak out. Because unfortunately, it all comes back to keeping combat the same, which is the whole point of this game. You know what I'm saying? But I still think it could be a fun change.
I do too. We should pitch it. We should pitch it at RuneFest.
Okay, it's already been pitched, baby. Come on, Jagek. I'm pitching it right now. Oh. As I've said, all my idea, all of our ideas here are free. We don't even need credit. We just want good shit for the game.
Just take
them.
Come on now.
Just take them.
There's a take them. There's another thing that got announced this week, and this was like out of left field for me. It was like, wow, there's a dev blog about quest rewards and stuff. Like I woke up, I think it was on Thursday. Maybe it was Friday. What's today? Was it Thursday? It was Thursday when I was posting the episode. I woke up on Thursday morning to like tell everybody that Xpwaste had just gone live, and I checked Gen Chat, and it was going off. I'm like, what happened? It's like 5. It's like 6 in the morning. What's happening? Yeah, they released a blog about the Final Dawn quest and what was previously called the Enrage boss. It's now called the Delve boss, and it's Varlamore Part 3. So. Did you have a chance to read that blog?
I did, yes. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I did get a chance to read it. Overall, I think it's cool. I think the thing that kind of throws me, the two things that throw me are the Avernic Treads. We'll see. We'll see about the Avernic Treads. And then Best in Slot Mage coming as a tradable item, but I suppose we'll get into those things. Otherwise, though, the main additions seem pretty cool. What were your thoughts on it?
I mean, we can start at the top. The new melee weapon, which they're not even giving us the name for. I love this secrecy Jagex. It's great, but to me, this seems like it's just going to be like a special attack weapon. To main hand it is going to be kind of meh. When you think about it has like the stats close to a dragon scimitar, but this could be a really great spec weapon in terms of you're doing 50% increased damage just with the spec, but then you get the burn cycle for 10 ticks or whatever it is, 40 cycles. So 40 ticks, 10 damage over 40 ticks, and it does damage to other targets in the area as well. So like if you're doing content, like if you're doing melee Slayer in the catacombs or something, you got a bunch of Dagonoths around you, spec 1 and a bunch of monsters around you, you're just going to slowly take damage. I think it's cool. I don't know what are the implications for things like in Theater of Blood with...
It seems way too low level to be...
I don't know. It's just
I could be mistaken. If the damage is typeless... If the burn is typeless and can be applied to all Nylos,
yeah, that's
it could
the
have
thing.
A potential use at Nylos. But you got to think like you need your spec for Nylo boss in regs. Oh. You need your spec for the Principus in hard modes. I feel like it's not going to be worth it to drop specs on Nylo pillars. Like, yeah, it was fun to do it in leagues with the soul staff, but I don't think it's going to be super useful. What this looks like to me is another stepping stone between the DDS and the Burning Claws.
Oh, okay.
Like it's because it's like melee strength of 64. I think they said it's lower than the dragon scimitar.
Yeah.
So like, it's not great, as far as like whether, like you said, it's a main hand weapon. It's going to have its uses for sure. I think it's definitely going to have somewhere people utilize it. I don't know where. And I think the fact that it's thematic tells me that it's a quest reward.
It is. Yeah. So it's a guarantee from the quest, which is kind of cool. I think that like we haven't seen, besides Desert Treasure 2, we haven't seen a quest item that has come in from a master tier quest that's been particularly useful. At least not that I can think of. You have Ring of Shadows, you have the Karis Partisan. Recently, I can't think of anything else.
Every quest, guaranteed quest item that you don't have to like continue for, like Regicide unlocks Zulrah, but you have to get the upgrades from Zulrah. DS2, you have to get the backpack. Desert Treasure 2, you have to get the rings and all the other shit. Like even with Fremennik Exiles, which is one of the more controversial ones for a while, you still have to get the jaw.
Yeah.
Right. But all the guaranteed items, Ring of Shadows is okay. You don't have a Berserker ring. Karis Partisan is your entry into TOA. That's why Karis Partisan works as well as it does. It is your entry into TOA because it's the first weapon that like is useful enough.
Yeah.
In the Tombs of Amasket, because it rips at Kefri and everything in there is weak to stab when you're meleeing it. What else did I think of off the top of my head that's like a guaranteed quest reward? Prith is a very useful place to be, but you still have to build more off of it. Like, of the quests that give you items, they're all kind of in line with like, all right, it's immediately accessible. What can we do with it? Not a lot, but it's not totally useless.
Yeah.
Especially like in the newer age of Old School. Like, yeah, you have like the Nezi helm and shit like that. That was a pretty cool reward from Fremennik Isles, but it was so long ago. We're so much past the Nezi helm being best in slot. I think this is gonna sit fine as a guaranteed quest item, special attack weapon. What'd they say the stats to wield it are?
60 attack.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be. It could be fun for Slayer. Catacomb Slayer, this is going to be very useful, especially before you have like Ice Barrage or anything like that. That's cool.
Well, there's just a lot of there's a lot of like shitter tasks in the Catacombs where you are in multi, but it's not necessarily viable to go and like barrage or use magic. So if you get this early enough, I think it could be a pretty fun weapon to have, because if you're still in the realm of like, you have 60 attack, maybe your melees are like in the 70s, and you would have just unlocked a dragon scimitar. Use your dragon scimitar to go do this quest, because I'm sure you're gonna have to fight something. Use your dragon scimitar to go do this quest, and then you have something that is even better. When in terms of like, now it has a useful special attack where it's a 50% increased accuracy and it deals 50% increased damage on that hit. So if it hits, you're going to hit big. And you got the burn effect. So if you get this item early enough in your account, it will be fun, I think. The fact that it's a guarantee from just doing a quest series is actually kind of fun.
It'll have a use case somewhere.
Yeah, outside of like early game, yes. Not even early
again,
game,
even in the end game, you have the Karis Partisan, for example, still has a use case in the end game. Granted, you have to do TOA, but
what if we get an upgrade for it later? That would be cool. Because I'm just thinking about the Karis Partisan. I don't know if they pitched the gems or if that was like a surprise.
They did. They pitched them back when they did the blog, I'm pretty sure. But either way, good starting weapon. More interested in the lore implications of it because I'm excited for the quest. But
I'm excited for the quest too. What are your predictions on when we'll see the final dawn? Before or after RuneFest? That's where I'm putting my timeline. Because RuneFest right now is like 6 weeks away,
which is wild.
Well, 7, about 6 to 7 weeks away.
That's tough. Maybe they give us Okay, the most hype thing is that they give us the summit equivalent of what's at RuneFest, and they say, yeah, this is all this stuff, and they do a big cinematic trailer for the Final Dawn, and they show off the new boss and all this other shit like that. And then, by the way, it comes out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So when you all go home, get ready.
You can play it
because the
when you
new
get
boss
home.
is here.
Yeah.
I think that's probably how they're gonna do it. So it's gonna be, I think, after RuneFest, but like right after RuneFest.
Because if they did it before, they couldn't really use it as content for RuneFest, which I think would be kind of necessary. Because this is one of the biggest things that they had pitched at the summit was the Varlamore Part 3. And like putting a cap on it at RuneFest would be really cool. So I think you're probably right.
Yeah, and then they're probably going to drop some other sick stuff at RuneFest, I imagine, too. Hopefully not Wrathmaw, because I really don't want to be booing Mod Manked on stage. But yeah, this is gonna be such a fun update. I think I'm most excited for the quest. I did not read about the fletching activity at all.
Oh, I forgot about that. Actually,
dude, I feel it came out like mid. It wasn't even like it was mid league. It was like post burnout leagues, and I said, "Oh, skilling activity." Anyways,
oh my gosh,
just like went back to doing whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sure it's fine. I haven't read about it. Somebody who's read about it, I'm sure, is quite excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent at the moment, but it's not out of like, oh, it's a bad update. I'm just dumb and haven't read it. So
TLDR, you are gonna help Ents like make totems to bless or like to like gain favor with gods. And you build these, you fletch these totems, and like you can use your unstrung bows in the process, which I think is kind of cool. You gain the fletching XP from making them, and then you can go and then just use them again without having to go get a bunch of bowstrings. But yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. And there's going to be a lot of running involved. So, hey, maybe that's where we'll get used to those staminas.
Does it have a pet?
I don't know.
It'd be so stupid if there's a
fletching pet.
That'd be great. Fletching pet would be so dumb.
A little totem or a little ent. That'd be cool.
Oh my god, a little ent following you around that isn't Groot. That'd be great.
I would love it.
But I'm sure it's gonna be fine. The big one, the Doom of it's Macchiato, I think is how they pronounce it. The Doom of Macchiato. That's the big one, folks. The Doom of Macchiato is the big end game encounter, the first ever enrage boss, the first ever delve boss, TLDR with delves and enrages and all this other shit. If you've not done anything in RS3, you haven't read the blog for some reason. I still subscribe to, like, if you're listening to a RuneScape podcast, you've probably read the blog. I don't need to mansplain what's happening, but the more you go, the more rewards you get. Kind of like Coliseum, where like you can back out at any time and claim your shit, or you can keep going for more rewards, and if you die, you lose it all.
You good?
You know?
I don't know. I thought you'd be excited about this.
Mechanically, I am excited for it. I think it's going to be a nice, really fun challenge to do. I am not 100% sure about what it's offering.
Okay.
So the two things that come from this boss that I think people might be a little sus about are the Avernic Treads and the Eldritch Veil, the Demonic Mark or whatever it is. So Avernic Treads, it's an Avernic Catalyst, and you need all 3 pairs of boots, and then the Avernic Catalyst combines those boots, and you can use them everywhere. They are, I believe, best in slot Tribrid OSRS Primordial boots.
100%.
They have the same strength bonus for melee as Prims. They have a range strength bonus, and I want
they have a
to
1% magic.
1% magic. Are they? Do Eternal Boots have that too? They have. So they're all 3 boots, but plus 1 range strength. So they're objectively better than every other boot in the game. They may not serve the same kind of niche purpose like Arania boots, for example, or holy sandals, but Prims, Eternals, and Pegs are all eternally replaced by the Avernic treads. The Tribrid boot, I don't know. I think like on the one hand, it feels kind of weird to just never wear another outfit. I think that's like, for me as an MMO player, I don't like, it's one piece of gear that you use with everything. Like that, we don't really have that. Like, yeah, when you're mid game, you've got the Amulet of Fury. But even then, like the Fury is outshined by the Occult for Mage at low levels. Not as much as it used to be, but it's still outshined by the Occult. Then we have different pieces of jewelry for different content. We have different gloves and capes and all that. Now the boots are just going to be Avernic treads, right? I don't know where that comes from. Also, the term Avernic, is that not exclusive to Mauritania? Maybe I'm just overthinking that, but I'm sure they have a reason why it's called Avernic. Fear said, before the Eternal changes, everyone mostly only wore Prims. That is true. Everyone mostly only wore Prims. I suppose that is correct. But still, I think like, I personally think it would be more interesting if they found ways to introduce best in slot boots that were just a little bit more diverse, just because I think diversity in gear is fun. I don't know. I suppose like it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, I don't think it's like oh god, unplayable update. Something that sticks out. Oh, the Eldritch fail. This is where Michael's gonna get pissed off at me for being an elitist. Why is a best in slot cape not coming from a difficult wave-based minigame? Is that not the standard?
Right? So
Right?
this isn't wave based. I think that's the thing that they mentioned in the blog. They're like, yeah, we know this seems a little bit weird, but like this boss, once you get to the final level, it doesn't end. You can just keep fighting it. So this is not the sense where like if you get to level 8 and you beat the level 8, you're done. You can just keep killing it at level 8 until you want to be done. There's no like finish line that you crossed where, hey, you did it. You opened this chest and now you're done. It's like you're just going to keep getting loot on the ground every time you kill it. So that's my understanding of why it's not the same. But I get where you're coming from. It does feel kind of interesting.
I understand it. I don't agree with it, I think is what I'm trying to say, is that we've got the precedent set. There's two things that really bother me about the Eldritch Veil. The stats, I don't care about. Sure, we've been due for a Major Arena 2 cape upgrade for a long time. Cool. Major Arena 2 cape came out years ago, right? It doesn't. It's just it's a random drop. I don't like that. You know, all of the best in slot capes that have come out over the years, even dating all the way back to the Fire cape, it's tradable, right? There's no flex behind it. It doesn't mean anything. I don't love there's no prestige attached to the best in slot. I don't love that it is tradable. I don't love that it comes from a non-traditional source, because they're like, well, you have to prove yourself in the major arena. Bitch, I did that at like 1300 total level on my GIM. Like, you're not proving yourself in the major arena. You're proving yourself in the Coliseum. You're proving yourself in the Inferno. It's a random drop. And they don't like, they're saying it's important that nobody feels blocked by their bad luck, you know, which like, is it going to be guaranteed at some point? And if it's guaranteed at some point, just make it untradeable. I don't know. I think this is just me being stinky and elitist about it, if anything.
I don't know that this is necessarily elitism. I think this is just like not wanting to mess with the status quo.
Which again, that's boomerscape right there, which I don't love feeling like boomerscape. I don't know, dude. I think like, because you got to remember, this is going to be used primarily with the shadow. So this is a 9% magic damage increase and a 60-point magic attack increase with the shadow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge upgrade to DPS, right? I think it goes with a shadow. It goes from what, 6 to 9?
Is Major Arena 2%?
I believe it's 2%. Okay. It goes from 2%,
1, 2, and 3.
does the regular cape give a 1%?
Let me look.
I don't know if it does, but I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think it does.
Fear
So
says it doesn't.
it's 2%. It's 2% on the cape. So 6% damage up to 9% damage, which, stacked with everything else, probably adds a max hit somewhere with the shadow.
Why is the Matrion a 1 cape even? It's like you literally just attack and defense.
Pretty much,
That's
yeah.
funny.
It's old, dude. What do you want from it? It's old.
It's funny.
I don't know. Eldritch Veil, I think, could have been released in a different way and still been the same kind of fun, but maybe I'm just being a bitch about it. I don't know. It's just the first impression that I got when I saw that it was tradable from a not wave-based thing. It's Boomerscape. I get it. I'm being a bitch about it. That's all I kind of have to say. I think the introduction of a new mage cape is good. I don't think the fact that it is coming from this boss is bad. I think it's cool that it's part of this new continent. I think it's a brand new style of boss that's going to introduce a lot of new mechanics. And I think that it's overall going to feel like a new and challenging experience. Like the first person to get their demonic mark. But again, that's what kills me is it's fucking tradable. So it's not the first person to get it. We're not watching Wooks go for it for 3 days. We're not watching Port Khazard take 18 hours to get the first quiver. It's just who gets lucky, who gets the 1KC luck drop and sells it for 3 bill on the Grand Exchange. That doesn't hit the same as a player who enjoys that. And I think maybe it's the fact that it's tradable that really bothers me. I can't quite put my finger on it. I understand I'm being a boomer bitch. Good idea for a cape. Good implementation of where the cape is going to come from. -2 prayer. Who gives a shit at the higher end? But like, I don't know. That's what sticks out in my brain is like,
Yeah. I could see where you're coming from. Like, it's easy to get hung up on the fact that like it's a cape, and capes almost exclusively in this game are like something that people work for and achieve.
They are like the biggest way to show off. I feel like in RuneScape is cape, like in every sense too. Like not even just PVM. Like they're not called skill capes. They're called capes of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Is like what the proper term for them are, because you get. I mean, yeah, skill capes are what they're called, like skill cape of attack. But like the cape of accomplishment domain is like your achievement diary cape, your quest cape, your music cape, all your skill capes, your max cape, shit like that. Like what's on your back means a lot.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that ever goes on your back that's tradable. I suppose you could make the argument, and I'm curious, Michael, what you think, and I'm curious what other folks who are on like the more end game spectrum think. Does this feel the same as blessing your quiver? I lean towards no, because you have to get the quiver to bless it, and blessing the quiver with the tradable splinters seems more quality of life for main game, because you still have to earn your quiver. I don't know.
Does the blessed quiver have different stats?
I believe so. I think the blessed quiver is it's how you put it on the max cape. I know. I don't have one, so I couldn't tell you. Dinzana's quiver. You see, is an item from the Colosseum. It outclasses the assembler in range offense in its uncharged state, so it's objectively better in the uncharged state. This can be further increased by charging it with Sunfire Splinters, giving it a passive effect known as Dinzana's Sunfire. Players can add up to 20,000 charges to the quiver. When charged, arrows and bolts that are fired from either slot will gain +1 range strength and +10 range accuracy. As ammunition must be storable in the quiver, it does not apply for the blowpipe or chins. Whether or not the quiver consumes a charge is determined by a random 1 or 3 roll. You can upgrade the quiver to apply ammunition saving effects by bringing it to Ava. And then you can also bring it to the Shrine of Ralos with 150,000 Sunfire Splinters to upgrade it to the Blessed Quiver. This makes the Dinzana's Sunfire a permanent effect.
Okay.
And it can also be the Dinzana's max
So
cape.
normally, you're just going to put shards in there anyway. So it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
It's basically just corrupting it. So
Yeah, you're essentially you're corrupting.
It doesn't feel like
you're corrupting it. That's the point.
Yeah, this is not the same. In my opinion, it's not. Because like if you have a quiver, you're gonna put shards in there and you're gonna use the shards for charges. It's just chargescape at this point. And blessing it just makes it unlimited. So it doesn't feel the same.
On this episode of Xpwaste, Oxie learned what the fucking point of the quiver is. my end game brain went, ooh, best in slot upgrade. I want it. I didn't even know Denzana the Sunfire was a passive effect. I didn't quite understand why you even charged the bitch. I just knew that you did. So
you can learn something from this episode, even if you're in the end game.
Yeah, you're just a dumbass like the host who doesn't actually know what the quiver does. It's only been a year since it was released. You'd think you'd know by now, but
okay, so my thoughts on the veil. It does feel kind of stinky that when you set a precedent that cape slot upgrades are usually an untradeable item, that falls within the realm of stinky, right? We're making this tradable. You can just buy the upgrade. On the flip side of that, I think if they were going to do it to a cape, this is probably the best one to do it on because it's pretty much a guarantee. It takes like 10 minutes to get both capes. It's not obtained by any sort of like slog that you have to go through. In my opinion, of all the capes of accomplishment, the Mage Arena 2 cape is like, wow.
Is it even considered one?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't even call it something to where like it's a show of prestige. You know what I mean? Like you got your Mage Arena 2 cape.
Ask any of my longtime bingo teammates. When we find out that someone on my team doesn't have a Mage Arena 2 cape, we just like bully them to go out there. We're like, fuck it. You want a 6-man escort to go kill the end? Yeah. We don't care.
You just gotta risk.
Skull up and protect. Well, yeah, we don't even care. We'll all skull up and protect you in the deep wilderness while you're killing these things. If you want to get, but like, there's no reason you shouldn't have your Mage Arena 2 cape. That's where I'm like, if you're on my team, Otis, get your ass in the. Why is it every time we talk about this, Otis goes, oh, guilty and not having one. Otis, so help me God. Go get your Mage Arena 2 cape. You've already done TOA, big dog. You need your Mage Arena 2 cape. It's time. It is time, brother.
The fact that the Mage Arena 1 cape doesn't have a percentage like I thought it did, it's even more evidence that you should just go and get the Mage Arena 2. There's literally nothing holding you back besides maybe like a magic level.
Genuinely, the most annoying part of Mage Arena 2 is getting the requirements to do Mage Arena 2. Casting the spells 100 times on the enemies in the wilderness and then doing Mage Arena 1. It is so annoying to get to the point when you can do Mage Arena 2. Mage Arena 2 is not that hard.
It really isn't.
It's really the hardest part about Mage Arena 2 is the fact that you're in the wilderness and you can't take best in slot gear. That's the most difficult part.
The bosses themselves are pretty trivial. There's like, I had to do it during leagues to get my Mage Arena 2 cape, and they're fairly simple. I mean, like they have some mechanics that you have to watch out for, but in terms of an upgrade, a free 2% upgrade, the cape is fairly like guaranteed. So when you talk about I don't know what to call it, like an accomplishment, a prestige, like something to show off, I think the veil still will feel like that because maybe this is like super expensive and now you can just like show off that you're rich. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is the equivalent of like, I have third age, so I'm going to wear it. The prestige of it might be the fact that like you could afford it for that extra 1% damage. But in terms of a cape that they were going to do it on, it's not the worst because it's pretty much a guaranteed. They could have made the Mage Arena 2 cape buyable, and I think that people would have been like, sure. Because all the other stuff that you wear, pretty much almost besides like your cape slots, almost everything else is tradable. You can go into GE on a fresh level like 75 defense account and have all the best in slot. You just have to buy it.
Yeah, and I think the more that we talk about it, I really think it is just the mental thing of the precedent with the cape specifically.
Yeah.
Because like my concern with the Avernic treads, I think like even Fear brought up the point. It's like, who cares? You know, like everybody wore prims before. Who gives a shit? Like, I love it? Maybe not, but like I don't think it's not game breaking. Add it to the game, whatever. I'm gonna vote yes on it. I don't know. Like when you see someone in Torva, are you impressed by that? You look at someone and go, wow, they're flexing. They got Torva on.
I think that they just like either spent time playing the game. No, I'm not entirely impressed.
You're not. What are you impressed about with Torva? What makes Torva impressive?
Blood Torva.
Blood Torva.
Yeah.
The fucking untradeable upgrade that shows your skill set.
Yeah.
There's not like, I don't know.
But,
there's something not impressive about a tradable best in slot upgrade. It's exciting for the first time I saw someone holding a shadow in August of 22. That shit was wild. That bitch was so tall.
Yeah.
And like the orb on top, I was gawking at that guy in the TOA lobby because that dude spent $4 bill on that thing. It was probably like one of the first in the game, like the day TOA came out. When I saw that guy with the shadow, I don't even remember who it was. It had a shadow in his hand. Looked cool as hell. The Missouri looked cool as hell. Now it's just stock standard. And I think that is, you know, service Discord's making all those big flex items not even that big anymore. I think if you're in the camp to go to a service Discord, you never cared to begin with. I don't think service Discords make the achievements less impressive. I think it shows that there are a lot more losers who want achievements without earning them. Like that's what it tells me. Like it doesn't say that like, oh, you know, the Infernal Cape is so less impressive because you got like, yeah, okay, if you're a loser and got someone to do it for you, like whatever. It's taking away from seeing a lot more Blorvo walking around. I think in a way, yeah. And that's the unfortunate part about Blood Torva is like you don't know how to prove whether or not somebody did it. Like with the Infernal Cape, you can look up their KC and then ask them for their PB. 1 KC, 61-minute PV. Like, yeah, you bought that shit, loser. You got 8 KC on there, and your PB's like 90 minutes. I don't know how you're not getting faster by then, but you probably did it for real. You know, like there's no way to prove that with Blorva that you did it for real. But like, if you buy services for an untradeable upgrade, you're a loser. Look at me in the face. You buy your Infernal Cape, loser. You buy your Blorva, loser. You boost for your fighter torso, who cares? Like that's you use that boosting service for your fighter torso, whatever. That's fine. You buy your quiver.
Is that the same thing?
Shockingly enough, if you buy your quiver though, loser. Loser. Go get your own shit. Loser behavior. And the reason I say it is because like sometimes if you're not in the part of RuneScape that understands the difference between like a BA services and like an Infernal Cape service, and you hear services, Oxie said services makes you a loser. Oh no, I'm a loser. I paid to get my fighter torso. It's not the same thing, dude. It's really not the same thing when you use that kind of a service.
I think the difference is like one, you're getting carried through content, and the other is somebody logs into your account.
Yeah, like
that's the biggest differential.
Even like with like Fang kits, like you can technically boost a Fang kit to do that, where you just do the balcony method, and someone goes in and 1+1s the 500 raid for you until wardens,
and you just sip ambrosias the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much. But
yeah, that's the biggest difference. Is like
know.
One, you're being carried. The other one is somebody's logging in. That's the differential of like this one where somebody logs into your account that strips any sort of like cool factor from your achievement because you didn't get it.
Loser. And I think again, I think that's the issue. I think it doesn't quite have the same vitriolic loser effect as like buying your Infernal Cape does. But you bought your Eldritch Veil. Like, how do I know that you got like? There's no way to prove you got that yourself, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way to prove it. Like, there's Inferno PBs. Like, you could hit PB Awakened Whisperer, and there's a difference between a 5-minute time and an 11-minute time. Like, you did that shit it was your first time getting the KC. Like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah. I think that like
it just
it's the
sits in a wrong spot for me. I don't know.
To explain it in a way that I think some people can like connect with, like the cape slot used to be something where it's like they don't touch it. And now this kind of sets a new precedent of, well, other capes upgrades could be purchased in the future, which I don't think they're ever gonna make like something better than the Infernal Cape where you could buy it. I really don't. And I don't think that they'll ever make something better than the quiver that you can buy, because that would send a lot of people into a spiral. But this one, it does set some sort of precedent, and it changes the precedent in a way. It's not the most detrimental change. Like to me, I can sleep at night knowing that the Eldritch Veil will be tradable and it's fine, you know? But like it does kind of feel weird to pick this is the time that we're going to do it with this item specifically. Because you're right. They could have made it like a Mage Arena 3, something more thematic.
I don't even think that it's not like, again, I think the theme around it is fine. I think the fact that there's this demonic essence from this demon that's haunting the rainforest of an area you've never been to before, that you got to delve deep underground to get to. And you really got to fight tooth and nail to get there. And you got to get through all the craziest mechanics. And you get this demonic veil as a drop that you attach to your Mage Arena 2 cape. Which again then leads to the question of like, do we no longer care about god alignment for the cape? That I suppose, like, I don't know if they like that is less important to me, the god alignment, but like,
ooh,
does it aesthetically look the same? Is it like what's the RS3 players? What's the Zuck cape when you add all three capes together and it looks the same? Is it going to be like that?
I would assume and this is just an assumption based on theme. If it's a demonic mark that you're attaching to a god cape, isn't that like sort of like corrupting what the gods stand for in terms of?
Yeah, that's why it gives a negative. That's why it gives a negative prayer bonus.
But I think you would probably give up your god alignment.
I would think so too. Does it look cosmetically different? Because that would be neat. I think like everything else about the Eldritch Veil to me sounds fine. Because what's the big problem with new best in slot magic? Anything, Michael?
The shadow.
The shadow. Yeah. The shadow. Hey, shadow, it's me. You can't really do. Tiki says people bitching, which, like, I mean, yeah, people are gonna bitch, but
that's what the problem is.
Yeah. People are bitching about it's me. I'm the one bitching about the shadow. I've said it once, I'll say it again. We're gonna have to address it in the room sometime. It's the same with the T-bow. I feel like the T-bow is a little easier to control for because the T-bow isn't based off of your gear. The T-bow is based off of the defenses of the monster, right? Same thing. Ralph says it's the same thing with the scythe if you have a warhammer. I mean, yes, those things are understandably, they do change the way the weapons work with your gear and you hit harder because they have less defense and all that. But there are other ways to control for that while still being able to add new gear to the game. You know, there are ways to give a monster like Leviathan a super low magic level to make the T-bow effectively useless. There are ways to give bosses that you don't want the T-bow to be good enough the ability to do that. With the scythe, you can make it have a very high defense. Scythe doesn't perform great against high defense monsters all the time. You can also make the monster smaller. You can make the monster weak to stab. You can make the monster cap the damage reduction like you do at the Tombs of Amasket, you know, or the defense reduction rather. There are ways to navigate around the other two mega weapons that allow for a lot more space when adding new gear like the Rancor. With the shadow being in the game, unless you're going to give a motherfucker 800 magic defense, you're going to have a really hard time creating something that the shadow can't hit.
Yeah.
Ralph brings up that like they did the ammo and the elemental balancing to kind of make range feel a little bit more balanced. And in a way that worked. I don't think I understand it well enough to know because like, again, I'm probably the wrong player for that. That's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them. Blowpipe. Tebow. Ruby Dragon Bolts E. Like that's the problem with me at this point when I get it, when we see upgrades like that. But I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about the Eldritch Veil, but I feel like I could talk about it forever. The shadow is a problem that we'll have to address. I know people hate when I say it, but you know what?
I think at this point they'll probably get enough feedback about this where it will change. I think that's probably where this is heading.
Yeah, it's still early in January. I'm sure they'll release something in the next couple of weeks. We'll see where it goes. I don't think, again, to wrap it up for me, not a bad upgrade. If they made it untradeable after a guaranteed delve level, sure, fine with me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Vote yes.
Would you vote no to this current iteration if it remains tradable and it's at 3%?
Don't ask me that question. I don't have an answer for you.
I'll probably vote no at this point because I think you're right. While I don't really care about this precedent, like capes are capes, the Mage Arena 2 cape is meh to me. It's not like it's a very prestigious item. I could be convinced that, you know, we can't make cape slots something that is tradable. So I don't know. I might vote no because, again, in terms of items that needed an upgrade, I personally don't think that the Mage Arena 2 cape, like a 1% and a 5 attack bonus, is even something that we should be talking about. Like at the end of the day,
it has less to do with the stats and more to do with like bringing the Mage Arena 2 cape in line with the other best in slot items. Because originally it was Mage Arena 2 cape, Ava's accumulator, fire cape. Then we got the Inferno, and then we got the Ava's assembler. And then the Ava's assembler still felt a little bit below the Infernal in terms of difficulty. Then we got the Quiver. So we've got the Infernal cape, we've got the Quiver, and then we've got the Mage Arena 2 cape that came out 20 odd years ago and is kind of negligible without a shadow. So I think it's time. It's been long enough. It's time.
What I'm trying to say is, like, is it a meaningful enough upgrade for it to be worth all of this trouble at the end of the day? Like 1%. To me, that doesn't scream best in slot. I know it will be because it's the highest magic damage percentage. But in terms of you're going from 2 to 3%, at the end of the day, what's the point? There is a point.
I think it's because it's what you stack. It's what you stack everything else up with. Like the Rancor, you went from what'd you go from the Rancor between Torture and Rancor? You went from like 10 to 12?
Mm-hmm.
Not a max hit. But it's what you combine it with.
Yeah.
It's when you combine that extra % damage, you get another max hit when you have Ancestral, Eternals, Shadow, Occult, Tormented. That to me is why, like, no, 3% doesn't seem particularly substantial on its own, like going from 2 to 3, but it's what else is it stacked up against? And you can't make it that much higher.
I know, that's the problem.
It's fucking
that's
Shadow.
The problem.
All you TOA Andes in there who love the Shadow, it's going to ruin Magic gear progression in this game.
It already has.
And I'll die on that hill.
I think it already
really
has.
will. It's such a fun weapon to use. I'm not going to deny that it's fun as shit. I love my Shadow. That bitch it's not good for the game where it is. I don't know.
You back yourself into a corner of like, we have such small upgrades in terms of magic damage because the thing at the very end of the best in slot chart just makes everything so good that you can't.
It makes everything else negligible is the problem. Like I'm thinking, imagine how fucked Zulrah is if you don't have a damage cap. Imagine how hard you're hitting that green phase.
Yeah.
But the other issue with Magic is also the accuracy. Like I know accuracy isn't as important as damage in a lot of cases, but as we saw with leagues, if you were a ranger, you kill shit a lot quicker when you don't miss.
That's very true.
You're adding another 15 to 20 accuracy bonus on top of whatever when you triple something with a shadow. You're not going to miss your attacks. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. The thing I'm trying to get at is like the step below a shadow is probably what, a Sang or a Toxic Trident?
It's a Sang.
A Sang. And the Sang does it boost magic damage, or does it just use the damage that you have?
It uses the damage
So
that you
it
have.
uses-
So the Shadow's the only weapon in the game that multiplies your magic damage.
And that's the problem. I think that is the issue we're dealing with, is that they I don't know, you come out swinging with the best in slot magic, and it's like now it's never going to be outclassed, and everything that you thought was like a meh upgrade just becomes like, well, you could either have 3% or it's 9%. When you look at 3%, you're not really thinking it's 3%. You're thinking in terms of like, this is what the Shadow could do, and that's 9%. So
it's 12% in TOA.
Oh.
So it's like it just keeps going. That's the issue with the Shadow. The Shadow, it's such a fun weapon, but this is going to be a hot take that I don't even know if I want to say out loud, because I don't even know if I agree with it. The Shadow, in hindsight, would have made a better echo item than an actual in-game item. The ability to fucking quadruple your magic damage with a single a single powered staff, that shit screams League's echo item, but it's in the main game. And it's fun, and it's a great addition. It's perfectly thematic from TOA. It's great. It's the magic mega rare that we were hoping for in a lot of ways. I really don't think we could have foreseen what it meant 2.5 years down the road, because now we're faced with like, who gives a fuck about a 1% upgrade? Like this delve boss is going to be hard. We have not seen a boss like this before. This is going to be a difficult encounter. And I think it's going to be like the 4,000% Telos, or the 4,000% Zamorak. It's like the first person to get 100 delve level is going to go down in history as like, damn, that's a bad bitch. They can do really well in this game. Because they got Macchiato down to, 50 delves or 100 delves or something crazy like that. That part is going to be hard. But the reward feels so lackluster with the demonic veil. And I think that's why it's tradable. Like I understand it now. That's why it's tradable, because the Shadow ruined it. So it's not even Jagex's fault. It's the Shadow's fault. I have such a love-hate relationship with that weapon. I really do. I wish I could explain better my complicated feelings towards that weapon.
Well, it's like you love using it, but it is detrimental to any sort of progression past like what we have now. We're kind of left with less than meaningful upgrades because of one item, and that just is not fun. But it's also amazingly fun to use it.
And they've tried so hard to bolster like elemental damage and things like that. They've tried so hard. And you got to give credit where credit is due. They understand that the Shadow is a problem child. I get that. But unfortunately, it's so challenging without releasing content that can't only be damaged by elemental gear. Because like, oh shit, dude, did you know that like dragons now have like a weakness to like wind elementals, and like wind surge is actually like really powerful against dragons? Yeah, that's super cool. Anyways, and you just Shadow Slayer home. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with the Shadow. That is see, y'all got me heated about the goddamn Shadow now. And it's love-hate.
Yeah. I was reading on Reddit, and somebody was saying that the Shadow is capped at 100%. So we're not really going to, and this is how I interpreted it, is like we're not really going to see any sort of like meaningful magic upgrades until the Shadow can hit its cap, and then we can just have fun after that. You know what I mean? Like, how close are we to the 100% with all of the current gear?
I'd probably have to look at a DPS calculator. If I was a betting man outside of TOA, we're probably sitting at around 60 to 70%.
Oh, wow, we got a long way to go.
With absolute
gear,
slot.
yeah.
I think that's where we're sitting, is around 50 to 60%. Because Ancestral is... What's Ancestral? Are
9.
they each 2%? Is Ancestral? Are they each 3%?
I think it's just 3.
I would need to... All right, hold on. OSRS, DPS calculator. Let me see. Mage strength is fucking 72. If I'm looking at this correctly, with full ancestral, occult, eternals, magus, tormented, imbued, god cape, shadow, 72%. That's 28 more to go that we have to cap. And then like we add an extra percent to all of that. Everything gets quadrupled in TOA. I don't know, dude. I feel like we have to.
So it's already at 100% in TOA.
I don't know. Let me just look up. Let me look up the Temecan shadow.
So 72 divided by 3. We're at 24 mage. Oh, so we're just under. We're at like 96. Yeah, we're at 96. But with this god cape will add another percent. So we'll be at 100% if you have absolute max and you're wearing all of it for we'll be at 100% magic increase in TOA.
Wow. Is that their goal?
Maybe. This can be a conversation for another time, but like the TLDR of magic damage is like, the way that I understand it is if your max hit was normally like a 10, now your max hit is a 20. Is that how that works?
From with what weapon?
Those are just numbers. So the numbers don't matter. It's the multiplication of the numbers. So if 100% of 10, does it go to 20? Like if your max hit is a 50, then it's 100. Is that how that works with magic damage percentage?
I don't know, dude. You're asking a lot of questions. I don't know. You're asking me lots of questions.
Let me know in the Xpwaste chat. How does magic damage percent work and why does it matter? It is insane though. And I think that's where we're trying to get at, is like this conversation has gone on for very long because this one item is making this much of a stink. Not really a stink, but it has garnered a lot of conversation, at least within terms of like what is best in slot and how do you obtain it. I think that's like at the end of the day, like what is best in slot and how do you obtain it? That's what we're trying to get at.
You know what's not going to be best in slot? The diabolical ages.
Yeah, we can move on.
We're trying to get through this.
Yeah,
we're trying to get through this whole damn blog post today. We still got a little bit to go.
Got a couple more.
Diabolical ages. It's a fun Demon Bane special attack weapon. Oh no, it's a passive.
It's not even a special attack. It's a passive.
Two-handed weapon designed to fill the Demon Bane crush gap. We're looking at 4 attack speed, double hit splats, and a passive effect, which results in your attack delay being reset if you land the killing blow on a demonic enemy. So you speed up time. Off the top of your head, where is this going to be useful?
So they say we're looking at places for like Cerberus and Sire. I think like tanking Krill would be good.
I more so mean, I think they say Cerberus and Sire because they both have crush weaknesses. That's why it's going to be useful there. It's going to be useful there because they have crush weaknesses. I'm more curious about the weapon speed.
Oh, the speed
delay.
I mean, like Slayer.
Do we fight a lot of demons in multi-combat that we would need a delay? A delay? I don't dislike it. I'm just trying to think like, is this something they're planning for right now? Or is this they have a multi-combat demon thing planned, and is the Doom of Macchiato going to spawn a bunch of demons where it becomes best in slot for a particular phase?
Yeah, I think that's it. Because even in the blog, they say this weapon itself won't just come in handy against Osto Ayak itself. There's your hint. This will be one of those things where it's like, is this going to, what if it's like the little ads in Scurious where you can one tick them if you have the Ratbane? What if you're just going to have like a bunch of shitter demons that come and they do like a lot of damage, but you use your little crush weapon to go and one tick them?
Could be. It could be helpful. Like, I don't know. I think we'll find a spot for it. I feel like I think the crush niche is cool. I like the name. That's super cool. It seems like to me it's gonna be a big ass sword.
Diabolical.
Because I'm sure somebody out there is thinking of AG slash as well. So I get that it's gonna be a pretty sick ass sword.
Yeah.
Then finally Thrall upgrade.
Wait, hold on. I think we're
What do you mean?
breezing over this other thing. The reason I said it's going to be good at Krill, it has 25% Demon Bane, but then 25% Demon Ward. Demon Ward is a new thing. It is going to reduce the damage you take from demons by 25%. So that's why I think tanking at Krill while holding this is going to be good because it stacks with the Ward of Arceus. So you'll take less damage fighting Osto Ayak if you're using these little. I'm thinking they're hammers, but like I'm just thinking about the Torag's hammers because it's a double hit splat. But yeah, the Demon Ward is a new thing that we haven't seen as a passive from a weapon.
I think it could be. I mean, if it's a sword, there's two things that are going to come to mind. Is either a really big, like, sword that's like swing, where you kind of attack it like that, or it's a double bladed weapon. Picture like Darth Maul's lightsaber, where it's doom doom.
Well, what does
an
Aegis look like?
Aegis, I believe Aegis is
it's a shield.
I'll search the term Aegis. Is it a shield or is it a sword? Aegis is a shield. It's the soul spear. I'm getting a lot of vape answers too.
Oh yeah, I got vapes. That's funny on Google.
I mean, it makes sense. Aegis slash is a shield and a sword as a Pokemon. So, I mean, maybe it is. It's a big door, baby. We're getting another door in the game.
Two-handed shield. That's so weird to name it an Aegis.
Maybe they'll rename it, kind of like they did the glaive, because we're like, hey, that's not what a glaive is, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know, that became the Tenalstex.
Huh.
Also, Aegis looks very
medieval.
It looks ancient Greek.
It looks just
it
old.
looks ancient Greek. A lot of, let me look up Aegis in Wikipedia. As stated in the Iliad, is a device carried by Athena and Zeus, variously interpreted as animal skin or a shield, and sometimes featuring the head of a gorgon, which is what Medusa is. There may be a connection with the deity named Aix, a daughter of Helios and a nurse of Zeus, or alternatively, a mistress of Zeus. So the modern concept of doing something under someone's aegis means doing something under the protection of a powerful, knowledgeable, or benevolent source. The word aegis is identified with the protection of a strong force with its roots in Greek mythology and adopted by the Romans. There are parallels in Norse mythology and Egyptian mythology as well, where the Greek word aegis is applied by extension.
Okay, I get it. Aegis, demon ward. It's probably going to be some sort of shield. But it's a weapon. It's like the Dins.
I'm very interested to see what that looks like.
I'm very interested also.
Like aesthetically speaking, I think it's going to look cool as No.
Yeah. I hope it's not just like a reskinned Dins where you're like, you have that stance and you're like holding the door. But I can see where their head's at with the naming of it, because it's protecting you from demon damage.
Maybe this is how we get like those old like rune berserker shields in the game.
Ooh.
You know, like from Fist of Gothics or whatever. That's what that came from. I feel like people just want Fist of Gothics and not something else. But now it's time for the Thrall upgrade. Thrall upgrade, cool. That's cool. That's where I'm at with it.
It is cool.
It adds another layer of positioning, as long as it doesn't hurt you. And I feel like it could be, yeah, I feel like it could be fun. Like maybe I'm just blanking and I don't know where this would be useful. I'm thinking of like the Womp attack that we use in Tob, where the thralls kind of like, especially the melee thralls, will like tend to march to the southwest tile, where you just like drop a thrall and like run to the other side of Sotoseg, for example. And then it will travel through Sot and deal a little bit of additional damage when the timer is done. But who knows? But thrall upgrade, cool, I guess.
It is extra DPS. So even if you can't,
it's like consumable. So
even if you can't make use of like the travel back mechanic, it'll be extra DPS with a thrall. Having it be stored in your ammo slot is interesting. I'm wondering if that's the only place it's useful, or if you're going to need to have another item outside of the Book of the Dead that you just have to carry.
Did they say that it's going in the ammo slot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ammo slot to augment your thralls. I think.
Because what if you want a blessing, or what if you're using arrows? You just keep it in your inventory then.
Well, so here's the question: could it go in the quiver? Is question number one. But also, if it's an ammo slot upgrade, I bring dragon arrows to TOB because you use a T-bow.
Yeah.
I bring dragon arrows to chambers because I use a T-bow. Like, I feel like this doesn't. This could work really well for people who do BOFA content.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an avid BOFA user, I feel like this is pretty nice for you.
But that's my question. Is it going to be usable outside of the ammo slot? Or is it just like, oh, as an added benefit, if you want to get it out of your inventory?
It seems like it has to go in your ammo slot. Tiki said he'll stop getting excited if it's a BOFA thing.
Damn.
Someday, brother. Someday. Believe in you. Don't worry.
I don't know. It just says in the question 5, should we add the thrall upgrade a consumable tradable resource to the delve boss? This would provide a boost to summon thralls, give them the ability to return to you in a straight line, despawning, damaging any item. So I don't think fingers crossed. This is my hope that the ammo slot thing is not. It's just like an added benefit, and it's not something that you need to always have it in your ammo slot.
Reading the thrall upgrade post, it like the actual thing, it says thrall upgrade.
You'll be able to store it.
It says you'll be able to store it in your ammo slot to augment your thralls with an additional effect. You could be right. I think honestly, this could go really hard with is combine this with the fucking Book of the Dead.
Come on, like add pages.
Like people
add
have
extra
been
pages
people
to the
have
book or
been
something.
begging you to remove a perk, to get a perk that removes the need for the Book of the Dead. People have been begging you to make it a Grandmaster Combat Award to be able to use thralls without the Book of the Dead. And you haven't done it for some reason.
They're milking it.
Just let us add this to the Book of the Dead.
Oh.
At this point, who gives a shit? Let us add it to the Book of the Dead. We'll just see how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about more Buyable upgrades.
These things look cool
the
as hell.
Antler Guard.
The concept art.
Oh, the Custodias.
The Custodia Stalkers.
They look
cool.
Look
pretty cool. They're
very
going to
menacing.
be cooking with this part of Varlamore, I'm sure. Aesthetically, it's going to be great.
Very menacing looking. A new Slayer dungeon. And in that dungeon, we'll have the new Custodia Stalkers, which will have a chance to drop the Antler Guard. Now, I say Buyable upgrades because this is going to be on the same level as a Dragon Defender or an Odium Ward. So you'll have a +5 melee strength and a +2 range strength with 4 prayer bonus. But it's going to you get a hit in all defense, essentially. This is not a defense weapon or a defense item at all. It's going to make it's like basically -25 in all defense stats. But in terms of Buyable upgrades, this one seems fine. Again, like when we talk about this precedent of like replacing untradeable items with buyable things, the Avernic is tradable, I guess. So
it
then
doesn't like the Dragon Defender. I'm pretty sure is +6.
Oh, is it +6? Okay. Oh, it does say around.
I think
it says around the same level. Okay. We want
Dragon
to
Defender has
level.
a +6 melee, and the Odium Ward has a +4 range strength. So this is just objectively worse than both, but offers a half decent prayer bonus. This item to me is because what level do you need? Although these things, I don't even remember.
Oh, 76.
Slayer level 76 Slayer for the Elders. Like maybe they're dropped by the juveniles.
They all have horns.
Makes sense at that Slayer level. It would make sense. Maybe it's more common from the elder ones. This to me seems like an Iron Man item. This is, I don't want to get my Odium Ward, or I haven't gotten my Odium Ward yet, and I haven't got my Buckler yet. So this is going to be my ranged offhand. There's no excuse to not have your Dragon Defender. When you're at 76 Slayer.
I don't know, if like you're switching styles a lot, this could be good for having less switches. If you're going between melee and range,
I guess
you're sacrificing a little bit of damage.
Otis just said guilty. I swear, I was just, he said kidding. Thank God. I was going to say, I'm going to start swinging on this man if he doesn't have a Dragon Defender.
Oh my gosh.
Man's listened to our show every week for like 200 weeks in a row. He doesn't have get it together, boys. Go get your dragon defenders. That's the thing. Like once you hit 67 Slayer, you're going for like that's like nearly a Monkey Madness 2 requirement. Oh fuck, do you not have a dragon defender at that point?
You do, but you don't have to.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to think. Like if you didn't want to go kill Cyclopses, this could just be something that you get.
This is where I sit with it. Like, are they putting this in there for Varlamore locked accounts? That's the vibe I'm getting. Is that not the vibe you're getting?
Maybe.
This is for a Varlamore locked Iron Man account. This is what this item is for. And I don't think it's bad.
Tiki makes a good point. He says Slayer locked, so you can't do Slayer and Varlamore. I guess.
Maybe they just add a Slayer Master.
Maybe they do. You never know.
Like, I think if they really want to make this,
they're putting 2 Slayer dungeons,
a standalone region. It's time for a Slayer Master in Varlamore. I don't know. It's time for a Slayer Master in Varlamore. Stick them between, I don't know,
Mazkana's sister, because like Slayer is a family business.
Yeah, stick it between like Keldar and Neve,
or it's one of Neve's siblings, cousin of Neve. I don't know.
They all watch the dungeons. They can't be doing whatever, you know. Neve,
they
did
take Steve to replace Neve. Spoilers.
Yeah, so I think you just add a new Slayer Master, but like a new Slayer Master would have to have like a weird quirk, like Konar. Like maybe that's how he had Reaper tasks to the game.
Ooh.
I don't know. Who knows? Real talk. Do you think we get a diary for this region? Yes, I think we get a diary for Varlamore once Part 3 is finished and the kinks are worked out. I think we get a diary that includes things like, you know, not like equip. I'm thinking like what's a good diary step, like an elite diary step, which is I think the hardest elite diary step would be bless a Denzana's quiver. It's probably the hardest elite diary step they could put out. But I'm sure there will be like grow a hardwood tree at the hardwood patch,
turn in an expert rumor.
Turn in an expert rumor. Like, what else is in Varlamore right now? Like, make a potion at whatever the herblore minigame is, like the one that takes like 80 herblore. Like, you know, there's so much content for a Varlamore achievement diary. They're just waiting for it to be done.
Try and find the 4-spot crab spot. That's an expert level one. Because they don't exist.
That's not fair. They're not real. So, but what can you do? I mean, like there will be shit like that, like catch a sunfire antelope, kill a jaguar,
moonlight antelope.
Like, they're gonna be, is it sunlight antelope?
Moonlight's the 91 requirement.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just make it. There's gonna be like low level shit.
Oh, true.
It's kind of like we talked about with the wilderness with leagues tasks. You know, like they're probably like, I think a very good and very difficult task would be to equip a blessed quiver, but I also don't know if that's feasible as a diary task.
I don't think it's necessarily the quiver itself. I think more so like getting a certain amount of glory would probably be more akin to a diary step.
You know what? They could do that. They could have like salute. They could like combine it where it's like do the Fortis salute in front of like an NPC after the Final Dawn quest or something like that. Yeah. Like that to me could be a pretty good diary step. But like it requires you to do a lot of shit. You know?
Yeah, definitely. That's it though. That's the blog.
It's been a damn good week for news. Jagex is back and they're cooking.
And we don't even know what was talked about yesterday. I know that now you can buy Leagues rewards from the shop, but when this episode comes out, yesterday could have been something. Insane.
Bitch, it is Sunday. Man, it is Sunday, isn't it? So we could be in the like, they released a blog post on Tuesday that made our conversation about the Eldritch Veil totally irrelevant. If that's the case, whatever, man. It's January 12th when we're recording. We don't know.
Not sure.
Run it back? No.
Tiki, we can't run it back.
I ain't doing all that, brother. Love you guys. I'm not re-recording an episode. Remember the one time we had to re-record an episode? Like I like ran out of space on my computer and didn't realize till like
it's
2
never
hours
good.
in.
It's never good.
Dude, it sucked. Like we talked about all the cool changes they could make to wood cutting years ago. And then like I just like didn't have an episode file. Like went to upload it from Michael and was like, oh,
Where to go?
my computer was like full to the brim. Like I got like 2 minutes worth of recording. It sucked. So, but hopefully we're not going to have this problem this time. I'm still recording on the recording track, and I know for a fact I have a shitload of space. But unless Michael has any final thoughts, I think we've about summarized all of the new changes, all of the stuff that is probably going to be coming in Varlamore Part 3, which is going to be super, super exciting, as well as all of the run energy changes and the cap on leagues. You know, leagues is all but complete at this point. We have about a week left. If you've not gotten into it, still time to go mess around for a little bit. And if you're into it and you have been into it for a while and you're like, man, I don't know what to do, I don't want to go back to the main game, don't play a different video game. Go outside. You know, it's cold as shit. It's currently like very pretty snowing outside right now. It's like snowing in an X pattern, if that makes any sense. But like, enjoy something that isn't RuneScape. With that, we're going to send you guys off to break. So please enjoy this recycled commercial, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
How you doing, you bastards? My name's Fortunato. I work out of Draenor Village. I sell the best wine in the whole damn continent. Not in Draenor, not in Misthalin, not in Gillinor, the whole world. I sell the best wine in the whole damn world. People tell you, you know, you're gonna buy wine for cheaper on the Grand Exchange. They lying to you. That's juice. That's juice. The best wine comes from me. Huh? The pirates, they buy my wine. Them freaks with the hats over there in Zia, they buy my wine. Okay? You gotta come over here, you gotta buy my wine. At Fortunato's, we don't waste nothing. Very rarely do I have wine that go off because it's so good, so it's flying off the shelves. When it do go off though, the vinegar, we're gonna sell that too. I hear there's some old man just east of Iraq or something like that. He wants vinegar. I don't care why. In this business, you don't ask no questions. You're hearing this ad, you're thinking to yourself, you're like, oh, I got some buddies who make wine, I could do that too. You wanna be a tough guy? Huh? You wanna be a tough guy? Make your own wine? Try to outsell Fortunato? Yeah, sure, whatever. I dare you. I dare you to outsell me. In fact, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a head start, okay? Come over to my place, I'll sell you some jugs. They can be full of water, they can be empty, I don't care. Not even your girlfriend at the Grand Exchange has better jugs than me. I get these bitches by the gross. I'll sell you as many as you want. You can make all the wine that you want. It's not gonna be better than me. Come swing by Draenor Village, swing by my wine stand, have a good drink, and leave feeling good, okay? I promise you, you're not gonna find any better wine anywhere else.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial because I know that I sure did. Normally we would get into Patreon right now, but we actually have a guest for the second half of the episode for a little bit. Michael, who is this?
This is June. I talked about her last week and showed you guys some pictures on screen. But this is June. She's our golden retriever puppy. She's 7 months old and she's very timid. In terms of the perfect dog, I think we found her. I know that I made a lot of assumptions last week. Some are true because it turns out she's not potty trained. She primarily probably stayed outside in like a I don't even know. Like I don't know what their setup was. But she's not potty trained for inside, and we've had a couple of accidents, and she likes to chew on everything. So like right now, it does feel like I have two toddlers. But this one is so cute. So she's amazing. I love her so much. It was extremely difficult to potty train during like the snow that we got this week. So I think that's just adding to the difficulty that I'm feeling. But like normally I just put her outside. She runs around, goes potty. She's like a very good dog. And so, yeah, I just wanted to introduce her to everyone. Say hi, June.
What a woman.
We're going to do a quick cut. I'll be right back. I'm going to go put her back in the living room, but we'll get back here just a second. And we're back. Tiki says third perfect dog behind Prince and Daisy, which I would assume are his dogs. But yeah, she's great. She's so sweet. She's so good with my son. He's terrified of her. Well, I say terrified. he's like 50-50. There are times where she like walks too close to him and he's like, ah. And then other times where he's like wanting to give her a hug goodnight. So slowly after a week, he is definitely warming up to her, but something in his life caused him to be terrified of like 4-legged creatures. And I don't know what it was, but he like tenses up and shakes and like stops breathing. And we just have to be like, buddy, it's okay. Take a deep breath. She's not going to hurt you. It's like, she gonna bite me. I'm like, she's not gonna bite you. I promise. But anyway, continue. Patreon.
Yeah, it is Patreon time. We're back. It's Patreon time. I've set myself up in Nightmare Zone again. We're so close to getting our Slayer helmet imbued. Good shit. But we are going to call out patrons, guys. We do actually have one new Wise Old Man patron. So these folks on the screen right now support us at the Wise Old Man tier. These are the folks who you often hear talk in the recording booth chat most of the time. And I'm honored to welcome Mithril Fork to the Wise Old Man tier. So welcome to the party, my friend. Yep, Wise Old Man tier. They were the oldest of the OGs way back in the day when we used to shout out everyone on the Wise Old Man tier. Y'all remember how long that used to take? That was wild. But the support was great, and the support still is great. Moving on from our Wise Old Men now, we do have our KBD tier folks. So these are the folks who support us at the King Black Dragon tier, and they have their name shouted out. That's their thing in the KBD tier. That's what we do. So kicking us off in the King Black Dragon tier, we have Boston, Brooks 70, my dad. Hi, Dad. Cloud Kicker, Dicky Bird, Elite Oreo Dunker, Jax Tob Era GIM, good.
Ooh.
Kyrandia, Lil Drakey. Did Kyrandia upgrade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Welcome,
Yeah,
Kyrandia.
she was
a wise old man for a
man.
while. I was like, I know that name, but I ain't ever read it here. Hell yeah, Kyrandia. Thank you for the upgrade. Lil Drakey, our third favorite GIM member, Ralph, Rum Metal 15, Rylithian, Sparky Life, The Big G Jordy, and Warbatroning. You guys are awesome. You guys are fantastic. To be in the King Black Dragon tier, get your name shouted out, means the world to us. It really does. We are moving on now to our Talk Jad tier, the highest tier. Your guys' shirt should be going out soon.
Yeah, if you hit your 3 months, then they'll be going out soon.
Yeah, I think Michael and I, we did clarify the design, which is going to be sick. I think you guys are going to like it. Michael made it himself. So hope you guys enjoy it. But we're not going to spoil that. We're going to wait till you guys get it, and then you can spoil it for everybody. But we are going to shout your guys' names out. So kicking off the Jad tier, we have Basic Pickle, Captain Crash into 2025, Chaos Cleric, Legend Gary, Michael's not so secret lover, still secret enough that he doesn't know who I am. Yup. Oxie's personal demonic toy, 666, Rack Roll, Soggy Waffles, the S-tiered Wrong Opinion, S-tiered Deviled Egg, and then our brand new Jad patron this month with Fair River, which, hell yeah, love the name. But you guys are awesome. Everyone in the Patreon is awesome. Your support truly does mean the world to us. I feel like there's not enough words to accurately express it, because it really is a very genuine and like, damn, y'all don't have to do that level of support. And you guys are there consistently, and you have been there consistently. Some of you for years have been there consistently. And it means the world to us. And for that, we thank you for your support at all tiers. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can head over to patreon.com/Xpwaste, and you can support for as little as $1 if you want to contribute money. Or you can just follow us for free, and you don't need to pay anything. We had a couple different tiers. All of them have their own various perks. Shout out to the Gnome Child tier. Yeah, that is Patreon. But with that, we're going to send it over to Michael, who I'm pretty sure has some community question responses for us, yes?
I do.
Hell yeah.
Last week, we asked you guys, in your opinion, what monster that isn't currently a Slayer task could be a Slayer task? Some interesting responses here. Starting on our Spotify, Boards says, pest control monsters or their portals. It would be great in conjunction with PC points and the Void grind. Rumby Tumbles says, I wouldn't be mad at on task Moons of Peril. That would be kind of cool. We have a Barrows task, so like at this point, why not give us Moon's chests or like whatever? If you could do a Niagua's or Nargua's task, whatever they're called, if you could do a task in Moons, that would be neat. Fizzman15 says, not a specific one, but it'd be sick to have a rare chance for Slayer Masters to be particularly pissed off by a certain monster and give double XP for those tasks. That would be cool. And then you have like that rare chance that it's a really good XP task, or maybe it's Water Fiends. And you just do it because it's twice the XP. Swole says Charlie the Tramp.
Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer. Is Charlie the Tramp attackable in PvP worlds? Because if he's not, he should be. Should be. School Goal says a corp task would be pretty sick. I think I said your name right. Skoggle? Maybe? And then finally on Spotify, Dinosaur says, I've said it for years, that it would be really cool if Nex and Nightmare could both be added to the roster of bosses that could be assigned on task. Soul Haired it to frick it, why not? It is kind of time that we see Nex and Nightmare. The fact that you can do them in a group and they're like group bosses may be the reason why, but you can do wildy bosses in a group. So what's the difference?
You don't get wildy bosses as a task, though. You get their base creature you can kill on task. Can you get like a Venonata's task? Oh no, you can get Veti on tasks. So yeah, you're right.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I lied, and there was actually one more comment. This one was in like a different section of Spotify. So this one needed to be reviewed, and I think I know why. Ketone, this is our final one on Spotify. Ketone says Turiel is already sending us to kill dwarves, cows, and birds. Why not just slay men and women?
Yikes, dude. I get it, but man, I'm sure Spotify had a field day reading that comment.
Yep. Yeah. Why not just let us kill men and women of Lumbridge?
We already killed dwarves. Why not just kill men? Whoa, brother.
Come on. And he says, or for a higher level one, snakes to make Zulrah tasks a possibility. Nice. That's hilarious. I think the idea of doing like, I want you to go kill 10 men seems a bit morbid. When it's locked to just like, these are like bosses or whatever it is, these are monsters, it makes more sense. But yeah, killing men and women doesn't seem like a good use of Slayer levels. Moving on over now to our YouTube replies. We have the same question. In your opinion, what monster that isn't a Slayer task currently could be a Slayer task? RuneGaz says imps, just imps. He says LOL too, so imps, LOL. Love it. Melvin Man says, I'm glad the Christmas card got to you. I hope by now that you've been able to wash most of the glitter off your hands. I did. A good low-level Slayer task would be the experiments in the cave from the Frankenstein's quest. I remember training on those poor things for hours back in the day, so I could equip my Abyssal Whip. That actually is a good shout. An underrated OG method for training was definitely experiments. It wasn't underrated back in the day because all of the worlds were constantly full, but with the addition of things like sand crabs and stuff, and you really don't need to kill experiments anymore. Sand crabs do the job just fine, but I spent so many hours at experiments because rock crabs were always taken. And finally, on YouTube, Heidi says, would love a Slayer Master that gives monster categories, perhaps low points or low KC. So now you would get a Demon's task or a Beast task. Jagex could then create more categories of monsters. As for monsters that should be a Slayer task but aren't, I would pick something that feels like a chore to kill. Black Knights, Chompies, Pest Control monsters. I think that would be cool. Instead of like saying you have to kill a specific demon, you're just like, hey, let's find some demons, you kill them, let me know when you're done. call it good. There is one last comment that is not part of the community question that I did want to read. Matthew says, I love the podcast, but both of y'all look like you could play guitar in Gideon. Probably a kudos. I was going to ask you, Oxie, do you know what Gideon is? Is he calling us old or is he calling us handsome?
Gideon is an American metalcore band from Tuscaloosa, Alabama in 2008. What are their most popular songs? I don't know. Let me look it up.
Why do we look like we could play guitar in Gideon, though? Is it because we're handsome?
I think they look, from what I'm looking at, if I look at images of the
bearded?
band, they're a bunch of big bearded white dudes. Yeah.
Oh, sick. Okay.
So, yeah, it makes sense. I've never listened to Gideon or know of the band at all, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it as a compliment
kudos.
on the beard. I'll take it. I don't understand it, but I'll take it. It's like when, you know, I don't know, like when you're talking to the youth, they say some shit
The
you don't
youths?
get.
Like Skibbity Toilet? Ugh.
I guess, yeah.
Anyway, that's going to do it for the community question, guys. Thank you so much for answering last week's question. If you want to answer this week's question, it will be, should a Mage Arena cape have a Buyable upgrade? I know it was like the biggest controversial thing that we talked about this night episode, but outside of like talking about it in the Xpwaste chat, I want to know in the community question, what are your thoughts? Should like the cape slot specifically, we'll change it. Should the cape slot ever have a Buyable upgrade? Should we set that precedent? Let me know. You can answer that question on the comment section on Spotify or under the pinned comment on this YouTube video. Throwing it on over now to the second most handsome guy on the show. Take it away, Oxie.
Wow. Offended, frankly, but
only by a little bit.
There's not much competition, I guess.
There's not really. When you get second place in a competition of 2, was it really that bad?
Yeah, it is. That's last. That's still last.
That's a better way of putting it. If you get last place in a competition of 2, was it really that bad? I don't think so.
It's still last, brother. It is still last, you know? All right, Michael is correct. We did have to take a break there for a quick second. Definitely not because I didn't have Achievement of the Week done. Definitely not because of that. Anyways, it's time to do Achievement of the Week, folks. We are going to kick things off in the miscellaneous category. It's the smallest category this week, but you guys get back into it. There's more stuff going on, and there's more people achieving because we're back playing the game, back in the main game. Kicking us off, we have 2 new quest capes this week. C-Mac and Silly Feller both achieved their quest capes, which the first one feels the best. And the quest cape is like, I know we talked about it years ago. That bitch is getting progressively harder all the time. All the time, quest cape gets more difficult. So we all voted no for the quest cape threshold, which I feel like I still stand by. But like, goddamn, that quest cape's gonna get real hard soon. And then Corpse Duster got their diary cape this week. We heard from them last week with a 99. So moving up into the combat category this week, we do have one first fire cape. Dave Decation got his first fire cape on his GIM. My cat is on my kitchen counter, and that's a little sus. Get out of there. Yeah, there's nothing for you up there. There's nothing up there for you, cat. Anyways, in the combat category, additionally to Dave Decation's first fire cape, my bingo teammate Clay Torres killed the corrupted gauntlet for the first time, and Ogiegi, a name I've not said in a while, killed Zulrah for the first time. I saw a Zulrah drop with like a clog slot, and I'm like, drops aren't achievements, but it was Zulrah scales, and when it's Zulrah scales, that's how you know they killed it for the first time, which is cool as hell. We also have a couple of diary completions this week. So both OG Scuba and Narad got their elite combat achievements done. Welcome to the Jad Helm gang. Additionally, as far as cosmetics are concerned, Jay Goose got their Missouri kit, which is always super fun. Who was I raiding with the other day? I don't know what it was, but somebody didn't have a Missouri kit that I thought definitely would have. I don't remember. Get in there and get your Missouri kits. Once you guys are comfortable with TOA, 350s aren't that bad. Go with someone who can go with you. The Missouri kit looks cool as hell. And then finally in the combat achievements category, hearing from him again, twice in the same category, Narad, in addition to getting his elite combat diary, achieved his infernal cape. He's finally done it. You know, congratulations to you. You can play the game. There ain't nothing that's gonna be as difficult. I say it all the time, and I genuinely mean it. That like, there's no greater hurdle than that cape in Old School RuneScape, because now you can do anything, and it's gonna feel way easier than your first cape. So congratulations to you, my friend. Moving on up to the skilling category to wrap us up here for Achievement of the Week. We got several 99s, real crazy, kicking us off with 99 hit points. Plasmatron achieved 99 strength. Iron Robin allegedly achieved 99 fletching, but turned his computer off and didn't post a screenshot. He got 99 fletching. I just thought it was funny the way he worded it, like we're grilling him on something. Jaw Dead, aka Jaw Angler, aka Jaw Wade, aka Jaw Fishing, achieved 99 fishing. Moisty Legs achieved 99 mage. I know a thing or two about Moisty Legs, and I'm going to leave it at that. My boy Shinkiro achieved 99 fletching, cruising his way to max. Apex Wolf achieved 99 hit points. Fish hopefully doesn't hate himself anymore and achieved 99 mining. Schnoodly, name I just like. Schnoodly, you got to do more stuff. I just like saying your name out loud. Schnoodly achieved 99 cooking. Pats achieved 99 wood cutting. And with his second appearance this week in a different category, my boy Clay Taurus achieved 99 range while we were recording, I'm pretty sure. Like at the beginning of the episode, he achieved 99 range. We have some total level achievements as well. West Virginia Mountain Man, good old big bearded mountain man, he achieved 2K total. And Zygarde, whose in-game name is Gimme Beers, but spelled like it's like G-I-M me beers, because it's his GIM account. He maxed for the first time ever on a group Iron Man. So congratulations to you, my friend. Have fun trying to learn how to use the max cape, because that so far has been, I don't even know how to play this video game anymore now that we have the max cape, but it's so worth it. You have done the most time consuming task in RuneScape. You've maxed your account on an Iron Man nonetheless. Congratulations to you. Hope you enjoy your sexy new cape, and then hope you enjoy the ever so fun activity of reorganizing your bank with all the max cape variants. But you know what? I can't even shit on you for it, because it's just fun. I'm proud of you for maxing your account. And I'm proud of everyone who's done something awesome this week. You guys are back into the main game. We're getting into the flow of it. I'm seeing more and more posts. People are posting like 93 attack. They're getting skill requirements. They're finishing quests. Like, we're back into the main game. It's super cool to see. And the objectively best RuneScape Discord in the world is doing what it does best, and it's helping people feel appreciated for the cool shit that they do in our favorite point and click MMO. If you want to join objectively the best RuneScape Discord in the world, head on over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL and come hang out. I feel like we're finally getting back to normal, because for the first time in weeks, there are non-leagues raids going on a Sunday. Non-leagues raids on a Sunday afternoon. We got some folks in the tombs right now as we are recording this. Come join and hang out and post about your achievements, post about your goals, post about your pets. We don't care. Come hang out. You're not going to find any better Discord than this one right here. So, yeah. With that, I'm going to throw it over to the third most handsome co-host. How do you like it, Michael? And I am going to say, Michael, my friend, do you have a fun question for us this week?
I do.
Oh, he does.
I do.
Okay. It's more rare that he doesn't, but I always got to ask.
I do. This one comes from our fun question section on our Discord. It's from JX Riot. They want to know, if you were stranded in Gielinor with only a bronze dagger, and one skill at 99, which skill would you choose to survive and why? So you yourself, maybe like we can say you are a RuneScape character. So you're a RuneScape character in Gillinor. You must survive, but you only have a bronze dagger. What's your 99?
I can have any skill at 99.
Yes,
For the
any
bronze
skill.
dagger. I feel like there's so much that goes into it to like really get a good answer. But I feel like even if it's just me, right? Like me as a person, not even me as a RuneScape character, I want 99 magic.
Ooh.
99 magic, right? Like let's say I'm somewhere benign, right? Like I end up on the shores of the River Lum and I'm in Lumbridge and I have 99 magic. There's a lot you can do with the magic skill.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds dumb, but like number one, teleports anywhere in the world because you don't have a particularly high agility level. And assuming like I'm me, I'm not an adventurer. I'm not a warrior, right? Otis says you don't have runes. You are right. I don't have runes, but I have ways to get money.
You can pick up runes off the ground.
You can pick up runes off the ground if you find them. Sometimes it's a little dangerous, but it's not impossible to make money as a quote unquote regular person. Like you could work at literally any shop. You could work as a bartender. You could work as a cook without needing any of the other skills. And I'm thinking me as a person. I'm not going to go kill I hate to sound like a finance bro, but you can get like an investment portfolio going where you can get a good stack of money and you could go around investing in certain items to make yourself money via high alching.
That's true.
Right? Like there are ways that you could go about doing that with high alching and whatever. I'm sure it exists somewhere in the game that I'm thinking not in-game me. I'm thinking real person me with the bronze. Like the bronze dagger feels negligibly important because you have teleportation. You can even have your services as like you're an enchanter. You know, like we're all adventurers in this game, but if I'm a normal person walking up on shore, I can do this super cool shit where I can take whatever piece of jewelry you give me and I can give it an additional power. You know how much money I'm making from the tradesmen who want their like forging rings and shit or like their bracelets of clay? You know how much money I'm making from like other craftsmen who, for example, need all their jewelry strung or their leather tanned. You know, like, yes, I understand it's a labor of love, but if you're trying to make it on a grand scale to like, I don't know, sell armor at a grand rate, for example, it might be worth a little bit of GP investment to have someone tan your leather or make all your planks and compete with the sawmill. Right?
Yeah.
If I'm 99 mage, you know, hell, maybe you do just party tricks and shit, and you offer to freeze people for a certain amount of money. Like,
imagine just like your birthday party magic. Like now you've made money.
Yeah, I'm a birthday party
at the
magician because I can
court.
I can do some cool shit. Like, you know, I'm picturing like almost like a reveler or something like that, where like, you know how in like Baldur's Gate 3 when you get to Baldur's Gate. Well, you've not gotten there yet, but there's like people in the street performing or whatever. Like one of those, like, look now, a ghost, and you summon a thrall and shit like that. Or you like reanimate an undead creature and you kill it right there because a reanimated dragon is not nearly as difficult to kill as an actual dragon. So like, you know, you make money doing stuff like that. And like, you know, you can also superheat items magically.
True.
You could work alongside mining companies and turn their shit into bars immediately for a much cheaper rate than having to have someone else do it at the blast furnace in Keldegrim. Right?
So you make a lot of great points about magic, but access to the other spell books is what I'm worried about. Because like you had to go on a like a huge quest to figure out how to cast ancient magics. As a normal adventurer,
I'm assuming if I have normal person, magic, I just get the cape too.
Well, you get the cape,
switch
but if
between whatever spells.
If you haven't done the quest, you don't like. Even if you have 99 magic without doing Desert Treasure, the quest itself, you never learn how to channel that spell book. So, like, are you going to have a lunar spellbook? Or is this like 99 magic with just standard spells?
Even
I like
so,
where your head's
with
at.
just standard spells, like even if
Yeah.
it's just with standard spells, honestly, there's not much you need to do in lunar diplomacy. Like, yeah, you have some puzzles to solve in lunar diplomacy, but that's just like an acid trip. There's not like you have to fight me in a dream. Like I'm fighting me right now in Nightmare Zone. But like I feel like there's a lot. Then also like with the humidify spell, you could like go on like humanitarian efforts and shit like that, depending on, you know, if people don't have access to clean water. You just humidify and just create it midair. Also, the Arceus spellbook, is that accessible off the rip now?
Without favor? I don't know. Maybe.
It might be accessible now.
You might have
because
to
there's
do you have to do the Arceus quest, I think.
I don't think so.
The Arceus house quest.
OSRS Arceus spellbook. Are there any requirements to getting the Arceus spellbook that players can immediately access upon speaking to Tis in Arceus, like the
neat.
standard spellbook? Yeah. So, if anything, with 99 magic, even if we don't have the lunar and the ancient spellbook because of the tasks required alongside those books, you can still like resurrect crops and shit. You know,
Very true.
Like you can degrime if people are doing herb lore. You can work with the local apothecaries. You can bring crops back to life. It's not super beneficial to like thieve, like with Dark Veil or anything like that. So,
I mean, you could make your money that way. If you just cast Dark Veil and then you go rob people.
You could. You could just go, you could be stealing.
Mhm.
So I think
That's
I'm
a great
picking
answer,
99
actually.
I'm picking 99 mage for sure.
Mine is also a good answer, but it's really not that deep. I wish it was that deep, but it is a great answer, and it's 99 HP. Simply because I don't know if I have more than one life. I don't know if I can die and respawn. I'm assuming he said you have to survive in his fun question. So then it's like, I can't walk around with 10 HP. Like, if you just go to South Varrock and look at a Dark Wizard wrong, you're dead. So if I can spawn in with instantly 99 HP, I can work myself up from there and be just fine. I think as like an alternative, I think something like a production skill at 99 would be kind of fun. Like I've always loved the idea of working with my hands. So like if I could come in right off the rip and be 99 crafting and get a job at like the crafting guild, or what you've been talking about, how like you make a living doing things with the skill that you chose. So I could be the craftsman that makes everybody's Zenite jewelry. If they, you know, I stand outside of the gnome area and I'm like, hey, you just got this gem. You want me to make you a fancy necklace with it? You know? And then I'll pass it off to you and you can imbue it and we'll be the dynamic duo that stands out there and makes money from this. Like,
Hell yeah, dude.
it's like the Oxie and Michael services. But yeah, either 99 crafting would be more fun, but I think like survival wise, 99 HP. Because if all I have is a bronze dagger, I'm dead. I'm literally dead. So give me that HP cape and I will survive.
First, he was afraid. He was petrified.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, JX Riot, for the fun question. If you want to ask a fun question and we answer it on the show, you can do that many different ways. JX Riot posted in the fun question section because he is one of our patrons, and that's available to you if you are a patron of Xpwaste. You can also post it in just the Xpwaste chat if you'd like. We can answer it there or screenshot it or find it. You can send us an email. You can DM us on our social media, or you can send us a postcard and have it put up on the wall right behind me. I want more postcards so that I can start filling in this space behind my head. Like that is the goal. Like if I get enough postcards to where we can just start filling the space behind my head, that would be great. So the PO box is in the description, and you can send us a postcard. We would love it, and we'll read it. And usually, what happens is you write your fun question on the postcard, and then we read it whenever we get the postcard in the mail. So
Yeah.
that is it for the fun question. Thank you so much.
Well, if that is it for the fun question, that is also it for the episode. Folks, it's been a very fun time. If you want more of us, there is a link tree in the description that has every single link you'll ever need to other platforms, to socials, to all of that super cool stuff. Feel free to go check that out as well. Go follow us on Twitch. Hopefully Michael will be live on our twitch.tv account here at some point. Go check out our merch store. I don't know if we have anything new in there. I thought we had like a Christmas sweater that we put up, but it's not Christmas time anymore. So bit of a moot point, I suppose. That said, though, stay warm and keep looking forward to all the sick new updates that are coming out. With that, we will see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.